We're now live on YouTube as well. Fantastic. All right. That's right. Jason and Schaefer, great to see you. All right. If you guys are Trump supporters, let me know. I'll bring you up. Good to see you. Double tap the screen for me. Live over on the tube on YouTube, where we're about to hit 270,000 subscribers over there. What a great place that's become. Laggy on TikTok, let me know. Hello.
Chris, what's up, man?
What's up?
So, I think I've been on here before and I've said that I'm not a Trump supporter anymore. But I just want to let you know, like, we're not going to agree on everything because I'm still a conservative. So, could you give me your reasons of like why I should vote Democratic in the midterms?
Sure. So I'll say this, and then first of all, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming up, and I do very much respect conservatives who are no longer Trump supporters. I'll say this, and then I do have to cycle to people supporting Trump, not because I dislike you, just because,
No, you're good, Chris. I understand.
but, well, there's many. I'm sorry. I got to stop with the Trump. Yeah, so listen, these would be my reasons for voting. This is going to be a two-pronged answer. Number one, I obviously think that, like, we have seen, regardless of your political views, I think we've seen where, like, obviously the Republican Party is, you know, the party of Trump, and Donald Trump, promised the golden age of America, and, it's the highest level of inflation in 3.5 years, and no new wars, and there's, chaos in Iran, and the labor market has been struggling, and consumer sentiment is at an all-time low. I think a lot of people are feeling these things, and so I think that Donald Trump, deep into his second year, has had an opportunity to prove himself based on all the things he campaigned on. And he hasn't done that. And while he hasn't done that, he's also gotten incredibly rich. And I think the corruption that's just so out in the open, where all these people are getting so rich, I don't care if you're a conservative or a Democrat. Like, I just think that it's like unacceptable that, people in politics, especially in the executive branch right now, are getting so effing rich. So that's number one, just like the failures of Trump. Number two is, I think, like, acknowledging that, look, like, Democrats are like not popular. In fact, congressional Democrats are the most unpopular they have ever been. And that makes sense because I think that they have been for a while, as many people I think know about the two-party system in general, but specifically you're talking about Democrats, not as effective as they should be. I think if you are a Democrat, you have watched them be particularly frustratingly not effective against Donald Trump. And so I understand saying, like, okay, just because Trump is failing, how are Democrats going to be any better? I think that, like, Democrats currently have I feel like a new generation of leadership and people and messaging and an understanding of how to operate that they didn't have previously. And I think that you have a lot of kind of leaders, whether it's in the midterms or moving toward 2028, that are, instead of focused on maybe some of the past things that were frustrating about our politics, like John Ossoff comes to mind just because I'm from Georgia, are focused on I don't want any more money in politics. I want these people to stop, trading stocks. I don't want I don't take, super PAC money. And I think Republican, Democrat, left, right, up, down, these people shouldn't be able to get super rich, and you should be able to afford shit. And I think that that's like it's structurally very different from what Republicans still, are currently obviously advocating for, which is none of those things, getting money out of politics. That would be my two-pronged answer.
Would you agree? I'm going to get off real quick because I know you're trying to debate like Trump supporters.
No.
Would you agree that's not really? This is my view. I don't think it's really a left versus right issue anymore. I think it's a us versus them, and that includes like Trump and the elites not caring about like the American people.
Yeah, I think that there is some truth to that. Yes, absolutely, and I think that that's like the messaging Democrats are like going with. That that is, I feel like, especially just the messaging alone is like so much more uniting. I was at a John Ossoff rally 2 or 3 weeks ago, and just like the whole time he's just like, these, I don't care who, like, come join the movement. I don't care what you believe. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you previously believed. Again, conservative, Democrat, up, down, left, right. These fuckers are getting super rich, and Democrats are getting rich, and Republicans are getting rich, and Washington is a cesspool of shit. So let's fix it. And I think that that's unique.
I appreciate the conversation, Chris.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate you. Be safe.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Talking again soon. Yeah, you too. Yo, shout out to, actually, I didn't catch that guy's name because I can only see the first 3 letters of his username, but shout out to this individual. What a great individual. Hello, everybody on YouTube. Great to see you. I am live. Alex, good to see you. Who Monkey, who needs a trillionaire? I'm saying, Bear. Democrats are better for the economy. This is a historical fact. That is definitely true. People know I will defend the establishment. I'm a unique character in some ways. Jackie, thank you for being here. You're the best. All right, if you're a Trump supporter, let me know. Holy fucking smokes, I got my money up. Josh, we've talked like, Josh, dude, this never goes well, Josh. This never goes well, dude. You're gonna, like, what, like, wait, is this who I think it is? I can't do my memory. It's like actually fried. We've done this so many times, bro.
Yeah, 100% it is who you think it is.
God, so, dude,
Yeah.
this is
What's up, buddy?
This is gonna go nowhere.
I mean, is it? What did you
Okay,
just say
so
about the inflation rate?
let's hold on. Let's take a timeout.
No, yeah,
No,
here, the
no, Josh,
timeout's going to be you
Josh,
explaining to me how you
Josh.
just told that dude that we have the highest inflation rate. Come on
Yeah.
the fuck on.
Yeah, hold on.
Let's
Josh.
be honest.
Josh, please. I really, really, really want to try to have a good faith conversation. So,
Okay, yeah, that depends on you, Chris.
Okay, we're off to a good start. Let's do that. So, what's your question?
Yeah, you just said something about the inflation rate to that previous guest.
Yep.
What did you say under your breath? Highest in how many years? I believe
think
you actually said the year under your breath. 3 years.
I think I said 3.5 or 3.
3.5. What year was 3.5 ago?
2020. Well, it would have been mid 2022.
That would still be incorrect, wouldn't it?
That it's the highest inflation rate since then.
So in the top 5 inflation rates, we're looking at 1920, 1947, 1980, 2022, and 2023.
Okay, so then maybe it's 3 years. I'm just referring to since like inflation came down from COVID.
Yeah, since the previous president.
Yeah. By the way,
so how is that supposed to stump people if you're talking about inflation rates? Sure. And then weren't you the one that was riding with Biden?
Sure. So first of all, I'm going to answer about
this. So Biden had the highest inflation rate since what, 1980? Yep. That's insane. That's 40 years.
I'm gonna answer that question. I just want to say really quick on YouTube. Tell me if I just turned on the audio for the guest. Tell me if it's like better now, or if it was too loud before, or maybe now it's like, oh, it was fine before. Just let me know how the audio levels are.
Yeah, Jerry, 9.1%.
So Josh, I'm gonna answer this question, but you got to please. Again, we're doing good. Let me just please don't interrupt me, because we've been down this road before. Okay?
God, please don't lie to your viewers, bro. That's all
sure.
I ever ask.
So number
for.
one, I was riding with Biden because I like Joe Biden. I think that actually hold on. Like, can I answer your first question that you asked, Josh? Please. So
well, no, you can just concede you were incorrect. Well, I mean, you weren't incorrect, but you were literally showing the Joe Biden administration as being the highest in inflation.
Right, and so I'm going to explain why.
So it's a misleading conversation.
Well,
when you're talking
I don't think, because I don't blame Joe Biden for the inflation, and I blame Donald Trump for the inflation. Okay, so if I could please talk and explain why I feel that way.
Did you blame? Wait a minute, is Donald Trump in charge of inflation in January of 2023 when it was still 6.4%?
Josh, can I please try to answer your question? Like, I'm trying really hard to be good faith right now. If you could just let me speak for a minute, okay?
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
So I think a good example here is that Donald Trump currently, I think this is like a Quinnipiac poll that they run often, or I forget what pollster, but he currently has the lowest approval rating on inflation out of any president ever.
This doesn't mean anything when it comes to inflation.
Josh, I know.
You said good faith.
Josh, I'm going to tie in this point, but you have to let me speak.
Don't mute me, man. Can you at least concede to the fact that was kind of misleading?
It wasn't misleading at all, because you haven't let me speak. You haven't let me speak.
Joe Biden had a...
This guy, it's like literally like, that guy's like 40, by the way. His wife left him. What I was going to say, which I couldn't even get a single sentence out, was that part of the reason Donald Trump's approval rating on inflation is actually currently lower than Joe Biden is what I'm talking about, which is people who I think are living in the same reality as me, which is they are more, it is clearly more reasonable, and is the reality that you can blame Donald Trump for the inflation, and Joe Biden, you really cannot. I mean, maybe some people can, but certainly not to the same extent. Why? Because inflation was high under Joe Biden based on all the economic data we have because of supply and demand issues, and not because of, at least there's been no economic data that I've seen to prove the reality that the government was the main cause of inflation during this time. Some people come up here and say, Joe Biden spent all this money. Donald Trump approved net 10-year borrowing, more in COVID relief spending and non-COVID relief spending than Joe Biden in his first term. He will do the same in his second term. There is no reality where the government spent this inordinate amount of money that they didn't before. So inflation, a lot of the inflation and all the economic data we have shows that the inflation was from supply and demand issues. Donald Trump's inflation is, number one, from his tariffs, his policy, and we have direct economic data from people like Goldman Sachs to prove that tariffs have, at least at some level, been passed on. The price increase have been passed on to the consumer. And number two is war in Iran, that the master negotiator, no new war guy started, which has obviously exploded oil prices and thus exploded inflation. So there's your answer, right? It's like I can't really talk to Josh. I've tried so many times, and he'll be in here for like the next hour, but he will not let you speak. And he's also 40, which I just want to be clear. There's no problem with being 40. That's very young. There's a problem with being 40 and acting like you're 15. I'm 24, okay? So at 24 years old, like you shouldn't be acting like, a child. But if you do, people will be like, oh, he's just a 24-year-old kid. You kind of get a pass. You got to grow out of that eventually, Josh? Anyways, if you're a Trump supporter, let me know. I will bring you up. He's not he's just not human shit. Exactly true. Like, I'm just like, what is going, like, why? I was being so nice. I was like, Josh, listen, we've had some bad conversations in the past. Let's try to be nice here. And he just couldn't do it. Why would I do this to myself, Hello?
We are nigger Kurt.
All right. Dude, that kid was like 14, bro. YouTube, I apologize for that. I don't know if you've seen TikTok debates, but it gets... Okay, listen to me, Josh. I'm going to let you up here again, okay? But if you can't let me speak, I am not going to keep you up here, okay? I'm going to answer the question that you had without you up here, okay? Which is that Joe Biden did have a high inflation rate. His high inflation rate, by all the economic data we have, was because of supply and demand issues. Donald Trump, after literally running on killing the inflation on day one, his policies directly, based on the economic data we have caused the increase in inflation. The highest inflation rate since 2023, and it's solely been caused by two things. His tariffs, we have the economic data for it, and the Iran war, which has increased oil prices. You could not give me a shred of economic data that shows that the government was the main cause of inflation under Joe Biden. It doesn't exist. So that's your answer for why I told the last guest that inflation was high. But I think regardless of our spat here, in terms of people voting in the future, it doesn't really matter what I think about Joe Biden. He asked me as a conservative why he should vote for Democrats. I said, listen, objectively, Donald Trump told you he was going to kill inflation on day one and start new wars. None of those things have happened. He's deep into his second year. He's 2x'd his net worth. The corruption is wide out in the open. He's a fucking maniac and a psychopath who only cares about himself. So, you gave him the shot. Give someone else a shot. So there's my answer, Josh. Let's see how you can do.
Okay, for sure. I like that you have to leave me in the comments section to monologue.
Yeah, because you don't let me speak.
Okay, so then why have we had inflation rates going down over the last couple of years during Donald Trump?
What? That doesn't
even including during the Iranian war. What is current inflation at? That's what yes.
Wait, the inflation rate right now is I don't know, it's 4.2% or something.
That's incredibly incorrect. Can you provide a source for that?
Yeah, I actually don't. That's just straight up.
Yeah, you're you're 1% off. I think it's 3.4.
It's 4.2%.
Don't you think you should know this?
It's I actually right? Yeah, I should know it,
okay,
and I did 4.2%. According to
4.2%. Okay.
Correct.
Here,
so I was right. I was actually exactly right.
Much less than the in there. I'll concede to that. That's fine.
Okay. So then why? So wait. But Donald Trump came. Donald Trump came in office, and what was the inflation rate on February 1st of 2025?
I think 3.4 maybe.
Okay. So what's going on? Like
What do you mean? What's going on?
you would understand why people would be upset.
Multiple policy changes, especially when you come into certain inflation rates when going into Joe Biden's presidency.
But hold on.
Where you yourself literally said that we're under Donald Trump's economic policies, and that's the reason for fucking inflation, including COVID. Yes, I can probably pull up a clip of you saying that exact same thing. So then why?
So Josh, the inflation rate? Nope. See, now I'm going to play bully ball because you can't be respectful and you can't be quiet. So now we're going to play bully ball, okay? And you're going to sit. Yep, and he left. I mean, it's just like what? Again, he got in office, and inflation was at 2.9% is the answer, I believe, in January 20th, 2026. But then the key here is that inflation went down. It went down in February. It went down in March. Went down in April. And now we were at like 2.4%. And then all of a sudden, he announces these Liberation Day tariffs, and inflation jumps back up to 2.6, then 2.8, then 3, then 3.1, then 3.2, then back down to 3. So now his tariffs are causing that inflation. And then now the Iran war is here, and it's 4.2. And the Fed is going to hike rates. They're going to hike rates. I promise you they're going to hike rates. They're going to increase interest rates. And so this is what you've gotten with Donald Trump. All the evidence is that it was caused directly from his policies. And not a single person in the world could come up here with economic data that proves that under Joe Biden, the main cause of inflation was the government. It doesn't exist. And just like, whatever. All right, we're moving on to different people now. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know. I will bring you up.
Okay. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
18.
You're 18 years old?
Yes.
What year were you born?
2008, April 12th.
Chad, dude, no way. Like, if that, no. I'm sorry, yo. Hello?
We are nigger
All
Kirk.
Right,
we carry them back.
I mean, these are just... Diana says, you don't have any life experience to know any better. Well, I invited you up. Please tell me about that. Jordan says, the inflation rate under Biden was 4.9% according to Google. Yeah, no shit, right? Supply and demand issues. Like nobody, why can nobody understand cause and effect? Dark Sunray, good to see you over on YouTube. Hi, Chris. YouTube Live, mod me. I do need to do that. Working through stress myself, being connected virtually helps so much. This is the important work. Yo, Dark Sunray, I'm so glad, and I can absolutely do that over here on YouTube. I appreciate you. Give me some love for Dark Sunray in the YouTube chat. I appreciate you. Dark Sunray, thanks for being a member for 3 months. That's crazy. Hello? All right. Okay. I made you a mod, Dark Sunray. Thank you. All right, if you're a Trump supporter, let me know. Double tap the screen. There's beautiful links in my bio, which there's never any pressure for. There's beautiful links in my bio for Venmo, PayPal, all that good stuff. And check out my YouTube channel because I'm live over there too. I love all of you. Hello. But there's never any pressure, truly. I just do this for fun. Lots of trolls, yes. Well, it's hard to T-Roller in the YouTube chat. Lots of trolls. It's hard to defend MAGA these days. Can't get any serious people. I'm jealous of your eye color. Blue. I almost said donde está blue. Now where is blue? Hello?
Hey, I just think Trump's the best president in the world because he's really helping out Israel, and he's really just doing a lot for Israel and for our people.
Is this a troll? I assume.
No, I think Trump's just showing a light on the greatest country in the Middle East and the safest country in the Middle East, and the IDF was definitely not formed by terrorist organizations. And
well, listen, a troll, but I will accept the troll. I'm not even normally I will talk to people, and I'm not trying to be rude tonight. We're just trying to cycle because it's late. That's all. It's late, and we gotta get some debates going. All right. Much love to everybody in here. I appreciate you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How old are you?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I probably could have. Damn. I kind of feel bad because again, that would be a time where I'm like, it's all right, and then they're gonna say something, and I'm gonna respond, and then I'll kick them. But then I kind of I was a little hot and heavy with the mute button. My bad, chat. Hello.
Hello. Okay. So why don't you like Trump?
How old are you?
Like, how is he not?
How old are you?
Like, literally.
Yo, chat. Listen. If you're a Trump supporter, I know. Hello.
We are.
All right, bro.
I'm back. I'm never gonna.
Hello. Just rolling through people here tonight. This is amazing. Hello. All right. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know in the comments. I'll bring you up or request.
Why are you supporting Harry Sisson talking to underage girls, Chris?
What are you talking about? First of all, can you tell me how old you are? Second of all, that's not happening.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I am 18 years old.
Okay. Do you like Trump?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Why do you like Trump?
Yeah. Well, sorry. Everything. Okay, dude. We got these. Okay, sorry, never mind. These people in fucking comments, dude, fucking pissing me off. Okay, look, I support ICE, right? ICE. I think people like. I think Antifa, I think, is a way bigger threat than ICE or like law enforcement. I mean, like I said, you have these.
What year were you born?
Correct. What's that?
What year were you born?
Well, you were 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think Antifa is a way bigger threat than ICE or law enforcement because I think that you have just people just screaming on TikTok saying like, oh, we're gonna kill ICE agents, we're gonna kill law enforcement, XYZ, we're gonna take our country back with guns and also other things too. And I would argue that they're the real terrorist organization because you got guys enforcing immigration nationality, like the INA. The Immigration Nationality Act, which, to be honest, it hasn't been done in a long time. And I feel like that's the reason people are losing their minds. Wouldn't you agree?
No. So listen, two-pronged answer here. Number one is that, again, I'm not sure that I've ever seen on social media somebody advocating directly for the unaliving of these people. That's obviously a federal crime. I don't think people should do that. Number two, yeah, it makes complete sense why people are out in the street protesting. I've been to several protests and are very upset about ICE in their communities because I would argue that, first of all, obviously ICE is going to places that are, I would argue, very blue areas and are deep in the innards of the country, whether that's Chicago or Minneapolis, to make political statements. They're ripping apart communities of people who have been in the United States for potentially 20 or 30 years, haven't committed any crimes, and are trying to live their lives. So I think that there's a moral issue there, but also I would actually argue that a lot of the time they're not enforcing. A lot of the frustration is that they're going far above enforcing immigration law. I think actually CNN did a really great article about this today, analyzing 77 different lawsuits relating to the Trump administration, and the attack on the judicial branch from this angle is truly something we've never seen before. I remember vividly I think it was a Judge Brian Schiltz in Minnesota, who was appointed by George Bush, saying that ICE likely violated more court orders in January of 2026 than most federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. ICE is doing things, and the federal government, like detaining people for inordinate amount of times and not explaining why they're being detained, deporting people potentially without due process, deporting American citizens potentially without due process. And these things are something that we've really never seen before, and we've never seen the federal government act in a way where through their immigration law, they're actually unwilling to look at the law. And when judges say, "Hey, you can't do whatever you're doing right now in relation to immigration enforcement," they just shrug their shoulders and roll their eyes. So I also think it's very reasonable for people to be outraged because that's how you lose your democracy. It's borderline constitutional crisis.
Well, yeah. I mean, number one, I mean, it's just deporting them. I mean, regardless, we got to get them out of here. So, and then that's where they end up after the fact. Like, that's whatever, but we got to deport them out of there. I think that your framing of the situation like perfectly encapsulates the problem. Like, I feel like we haven't like.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Like, I just think the problem here is that we haven't enforced like immigration in like so long, where it's like people.
Why do you believe we haven't enforced immigration?
What's that?
Why do you believe we haven't enforced like immigration law?
Oh, well, I think I mean, you tell me. I mean, I think that we're getting people actually seeing ICE what they're supposed to be doing, and I think they're losing their mind because of it.
I think it's
because it's been a political hot potato for so long that progressives have like always wanted to be away from it. They don't want to go ahead and deal with it. And even Republicans, sure, they've been gucked by it as well. But I mean, I think Donald Trump is the first president to go hard in immigration and do what's called an interior immigration enforcement, not just turning people back away at the border. And of course, we're going to have the immigration enforcement surge. Go ahead.
Sure. So I think like two things here. Number one is that, again, like I think immigration enforcement has been happening. Historically, a lot of people on my side of the aisle may have issues with, Obama's enforcement of immigration, potentially some of Joe Biden's, immigration stuff, because of enforcing the law. I think that for a long time, I agree that the issue has been a hot potato because fixing a broken immigration system where, it takes a long time to get in the United States legally, and we have this kind of broken asylum system and all these things. I agree that like politically, people know Democrats nor Republicans, arguably Democrats here have not wanted to deal with that historically. But again, like I think like when it comes to like removing people from the country, that has been enforced. Going back a second, do you have any comment on like doing things that are like against the Constitution that like judges are like, hey, don't do that, and they're like, where's you gonna be doing it?
I mean, no.
Because that's like constitutional crisis right there. What's the point of the Constitution? This is a fundamental question to our republic. If we have a constitution that we derive all our laws off of, and then judges in the judicial branch interpret the law and make rulings to, let's say, the executive branch, the Trump administration, the people who enforce the law, and they say, we've interpreted this law based on the Constitution, and what you're doing is illegal, or what you're doing you can't do, or do this, or don't do this. If the executive branch is unwilling to listen to those rulings, why do we have a constitution? We should just have Trump law. The executive branch can just make up the law. And that is a question that could collapse a republic potentially. And I think that we're bordering on the edge, again, consistently of constitutional crisis when the Trump administration looks at these judges and says, we don't have to follow what you say. And that's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'll respond, but I kind of wanted to talk about what you said about Antifa earlier. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, of course we're gonna have like immigration enforcement surge in major cities that are blue, like sanctuary cities that have been honoring detainers, have been honoring ICE in general, like picking up people in their countries. I mean, you're gonna have problems. I mean, I think that given the fact that it's like a different like surge kind of, I think it's not that bad. And then you got like these people getting shot like Renee Good or Alex Preddy, whatever these individuals that are like agitating and committing crimes during the course of their lawful processes they claim to be. And I just don't think they can be doing that. But yeah,
I don't think like regardless of, I mean, both those people were literally assassinated in cold blood. And again, I want to point out from the first time really ever, normally at the Department of Justice, immediately following any type of shooting relating to a federal law enforcement agent, there's going to be an independent investigation. Neither of those individuals were investigated because, again, the DOJ and these three-letter agencies have been like hyper politicized in a way that's kind of unbelievable. And so I say this all the time on TikTok Live, which is like people are always like, do you want to debate about Renee Good? I'm like, you know what's interesting? We could actually debate about a set of facts instead of watching a bunch of grainy video of this woman being assassinated in broad daylight if there was an independent report by the DOJ like there always is about it, but there isn't because that officer, because he's part of ICE and pro-Trump, is shielded from accountability. I would argue that I think that there is a scenario where ICE agents could walk out in broad daylight and just start effing shooting people. And there's going to be a moment of pause in the Trump administration where they say, how are we going to handle this? And are we going to, go after these people, X, Y, Z? So I think that that's a problem. But number two, I don't care if somebody could prove to me right now that Alex Preddy or Renee Good were like, again, I think both of these individuals, based on everything we know, are good people. But if somebody could prove to me right now, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Alex Preddy was like Satan himself, I don't give a fuck. Like, the government doesn't get to play judge, jury, and executioner, and nobody can show me a video of Alex Preddy aiming a gun at an ICE agent. And so anything other than that, it is completely unjustifiable for him to be gunned down in broad daylight.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I think I think the example that you brought up is kind of a little far, as in that they're going to have a whole meeting to how we're going to deal with the situation, that type of situation. But I can't tell you how to think, but what I can tell you, like I said earlier, I think Antifa is a way bigger threat than ICE. And
what is Antifa?
Okay, obviously, the what everyone said, like anti-fascist, but I don't think that's how. I don't think that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might say, "What is ICE?" And you might say, "Oh, they deport people," but.
Right. I think when we talk about, like, obviously, like, ICE has like the really, like, we can describe it because it has like defined boundaries. I'm asking you what you believe, if Antifa is such a large threat, what you believe its boundary, like, what is it as an organization, or as a, like, I feel like I often hear it's a big threat, but it's like this big mystical threat, like, what is it? Is it like an organization being run by people? I'm not saying there's a right answer to this. I'm just asking what your understanding of it is.
Well, it's like, of course, it's a group of people. Some could consider it as an organization. I think people just decide to go too far into that route as it's an organization rather than defending that it's not a threat. Because I think that if it were to be a threat, I feel like it would be a problem. And I think that it's a problem that they're a threat. Sorry. I think it's a problem that they're a threat, like I said. I just think, like, everything that they say, and I want to say you denied that, which there's going to be crazy people everywhere on every side. So I think it's very believable that some people can be saying some things, but I think at a whole, yes, I would consider Antifa as a threat.
And like a bigger threat than like anything we're seeing from. Well, how do you I think
Antifa is a much bigger threat than ICE. But
so how do we deal with a threat that, again, like, I just feel like doesn't have any like defined boundaries, and I don't understand how who is they, right? Like, we started down the realm of just like they are like people go crazy, and it's like, what does that mean, And like, what are they a threat to? And if they're such a large threat, like, what is the federal government doing to figure that one out?
Yeah, it's just about. I think it's another conversation, but I think it's just what they're doing. I think it's just, I think it's unacceptable. Like, oh, we're gonna take this country back with guns. We're gonna kill ICE agents and law enforcement.
But like, who is saying that?
People of Antifa.
But like, where can I find the people of Antifa?
Okay. You could find anywhere. Social media, TikTok, Instagram, probably at protests. You know what I mean? You could find them everywhere. And I'm sure that they would say the same thing.
I don't know. I mean, look, as somebody who's very, like, pretty, my whole life is politics, which very grateful for, but I've never run into said individuals, at least not at protests. I've been to several Chicago protests. A lot of people.
Well, you can agree that Trump supporters say crazy things and some like are threats. You know what I mean? And I mean, is that all Trump supporters? Obviously not. But I mean, you can really that can like you know what I mean. That could impact Trump because that just gives him like if it's like his own people, then you know what I mean. They're just gonna be bad looks on someone like him. So I think Antifa, I mean, I've seen videos of them saying those crazy things like that, but I mean, the reality, I think, I think it's just terrible, and I mean, we can both agree that, but I mean, obviously, you said where they are, and like I said, I think, I feel like you can find videos everywhere of them saying stuff like that, and I mean, that's really all I have to say. I mean, I don't know how much more I can really answer that.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you being respectful. Let me cycle some more people up. I appreciate the conversation.
Likewise. Yeah. You were. I talked to a few people about this tonight. You were the most respectful one, and I thank you for that. And I also, I want to say that Joshua L is awesome. All right. You have a good night, sir.
Well, I'm not sure about that last part, but I appreciate it. Peace out.
Peace.
Chat. Again, this has to be like the like again. I feel like I ask those questions because I'm hoping that like people will start thinking about those things. Like we're watching a large expansion of executive authority ever. Wouldn't it be really helpful for the federal government to grab more power by just claiming that there's like a mystical danger out there that nobody seems to be able to ever describe to me? Like even the government themselves. Like it's this evil organization that you can't see or find. And maybe you see some people wearing shirts that say Antifa, but they're like a really organized thing. Like, under the Biden administration, I would agree with this. Like, I think, there's some I think that the DOJ at the time, I actually think the DOJ has probably been saying this in some capacity for, a decade, but like far-right extremist groups and specifically white supremacy groups are one of the largest domestic terror threats, if not the largest domestic terror threats in the United States. And like those are again like when somebody says that, those are like very defined things, right? Like the Proud Boys are a defined thing, right? I can talk about like their leadership and like the violence they engaged in on January 6th, for example, or I can't name certain other groups on TikTok Live, but like the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, like that's a very defined group with defined goals that is willing to do things that they espouse. That could be very dangerous. So, again, but like Antifa, doesn't exist. It's just like there are people that do things, and that's just why the government needs even more power. This administration is like conservative pilling me in the way of like not actually. That's like me being sarcastic, but in reality, like I'm I'm like a raging Democrat, like in between, like in between moderate. I would consider myself a progressive. I would not consider myself an internet leftist. But we cannot expand the government if this is how the government is currently set up. I need 5 more amendments. I need 4 amendments to the Constitution, and I need a specific amendment limiting the power of the executive branch, and then we can expand the fuck out of the government. But I mean, this is just what are we doing, folks? What are we doing? Obviously, that was me being like a little broad, but interesting. So you want more taxes? What the fuck does that even mean? Mara, good to see you. Hope you're well. So you want more taxes? Jesus fucking Christ. This is what I gotta do. Like, this is dead internet theory, dude. Like, 99% of the people on here are just like completely, like, just have nothing behind their skulls. Hello? Hello?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? How old are you?
43 years old.
43 years old. And wait, hold on. Oh, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Hello?
Howdy, how's it going?
Hi. How old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18 years old?
Yeah.
Okay. What year were you born?
Oh, I was just saying, I feel like expanding the government is just going to raise up the taxes on people. I don't think that's really a good thing, especially that people are struggling right now. So, like, why would we need to expand the government more?
Well, okay. Well, 2 things. Number one, like obviously the term expanding the government is like it's a really, really, really broad term, but like moving toward more policies that align with Democrats does not necessarily mean that your taxes would increase. I think most people's taxes could decrease.
Okay, so I have a question though.
Sure, but wait, really quick before you ask the question, why do you believe that under Democrats like taxes will increase?
So I just because the whole thing is that they want more stuff under the government to be government funded, and government funding comes from taxes. So the more things you have under the government, the more taxes would obviously raise.
Right.
Because my biggest thing is that I feel like the left complains a lot about government spending. You see what I'm saying?
I mean,
but then you raise taxes. I mean, and that's raising government spending because it means tax money is going to all that, especially you add on to everything else.
Well, look, I think that like again, there's certain places that our tax money is going that is very not ideal. I think also I'd argue like Republicans are the ones who continue to explode.
No, I will say the Republicans do spend a lot of money. Like we should cut back on government. We need an audit. I feel like an audit would do well.
I actually don't think we need an audit. I think we know exactly where our money's going and why we have.
Well, we know, but I don't think the people know. I think we need to like expose it a little bit because we really don't know where a lot of money does go.
This stuff is pretty well understood. Actually, I would argue that a little bit of research, like we know. We have a $1.9 trillion deficit, which means we spend $1.9 trillion more than we take in every single year, and a bunch of that money is going.
Is that what the debt's at right now? Is that our national debt, the 1.9?
No, that's our deficit, meaning the different. The deficit is 1.9, meaning we spend roughly 1.9 trillion more dollars than we take in every single year in let's say income. The national debt is at like, I don't know, I have no idea. It goes up like $1 trillion every 3 months now, so maybe less than that. So it's at like, I don't know, $38 trillion or something.
So you're saying that it wouldn't raise taxes, or you're saying it wouldn't be?
I'm saying this. Number one, what if you don't mind me asking? You're 18, so like you don't have to really like have an answer to this, but like what do you do for a living?
I do like lawn work for people.
Okay.
I work for like under a company, and I go out and do yard work.
Cool.
I'm hoping that here soon, when I get my money saved up, I'll get a better job and because I already have one lined up somewhere else.
Well, listen, you're 18, you're young, like you don't have to.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Oh,
I know.
You look young.
I look like I'm like 15. It's not good. No, but look, like I think part of this argument is that number one, like under the system that we've had in this like increasing deficits and increasing debts, as statistically, the very, very wealthy are getting much wealthier and everybody else is not getting much wealthier. I think part of the argument is like, like you should be able to afford to live and do things without, working 3 jobs and not being able to like buy an apartment. And I think that there's, some argument that some of the like, investing more in the American people, quote, expanding the government may help that. And I think simultaneously on top of that, like again, you say like about raising taxes. For example, like Kamala Harris's policy on this was if you make below $400,000 a year, you're not getting a tax increase. And most of those people, like over 50% of people, would end up getting a tax cut. And then you work out other ways to try to balance the budget. And so I think that there is like effective ways to move toward investing in the American people and giving the middle class a break without, again, there is a way to do that. There's a way to like continue to provide more for the American people without like increasing everybody's taxes. Now, the last thing I'll say is this. I'm going to take my political hat off for a second, and I'm going to put on my reality hat for a second, because I would very much like to believe that there's a way to do that, because there probably is. Right now, the deficit is so large and the national debt is expanding so quickly that my guess is that there is not a way. It would be very challenging for Democrat, Republican, up, down, left, right it's going to be very challenging for our country to continue over the next century unless taxes increase for everybody somehow, some way. Again, I think it's possible to do that in a way where, I don't know,
I don't know.
Things may be, your life may be substantially better under Democrats, but under Democrats, Republicans, XYZ, like right now, think about this for a second. Our largest expense every single year is about to be interest on debt that we incur. So like we're taking on debt, and then our biggest expenditure as a country is about to be the interest on debt that we still haven't paid off. So I think that like part of this reality is that like it's going to be challenging to get out of the situation without cutting the money we spend and increasing our revenues. But regardless, you hope that there's a way to do that all.
So would you say that Trump has bettered or worse the the everyday American, like in their day to day?
Worse.
Worse. So here's my thing. Trump has passed a lot of bills to help like aid the middle class, which is like I feel like is the main class we need to focus on. The middle class. When this middle class is struggling, it means something's going on. You know what I mean?
What bills does he pass to help?
Well, didn't he need no tax on tips? I don't know the exact bill name, but that helped out drastically.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I'm gonna put a pin in that just for a second. How do you feel about like inflation and like the other pieces of the economy?
Like, what do you mean? I think inflation's inevitable because the way our money was already set up from the beginning.
Well, I mean,
because we've already when J.P. Morgan or in Rothschild teamed up back in like 1898, whatever, basically put us forever in debt to them, in a way. So it made us where we're constantly just giving them money because we. Does that make sense? Because when they established the bank, it was like inevitable that our currency would change when they took it away from gold. So you get that when we made the currency basically mean nothing, which happened in the 80s mainly, and then the currency just kept inflating over time because the money means nothing really, right, in my opinion.
But like, okay, so zooming in the last 2 years of Donald Trump, like obviously he ran on bringing the inflation down, and then his tariffs have been inflationary. The Iran war has been very inflationary. Okay. So like I think that statistically, like when you look at the any type of like polling, like it's not even close that most Americans say their lives have gotten worse, that they disapprove with Donald Trump.
Would you say that's before we started things in Iran, or after? Like after? You think it was going up before?
I mean, it wasn't great before, but it definitely got a lot worse.
I would say it was going pretty good before. We had gas prices were going down a little bit. You had like eggs, milk, basic necessities was down. But when the war, I will agree that the Iran war did inflate a lot of stuff. It did make it tougher.
Right. So you would understand why.
But you're seeing it go down, and right now with the gas prices going down.
I'm not positive. Obviously, gas is really expensive right now, but I'm not positive.
Well, it went down $10. It went from like 110 back to like 100. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure that like how long that will last. But really quickly, like
honestly, I hope that it goes well. Which obviously I would say I'm biased because I think because I agree, but I disagree with how Trump's involved. But I think that this deal that we have right now is going to be probably what ends it.
Well, we'll see. I think that like in all of this, you would see that how the economy has, like most people would say the economy's gotten worse for them under Trump. And in relation to the bill that you mentioned in the beginning, like that has not been, substantial in any meaningful way for most people. And in relation to the first question, it significantly increased the deficits. And most of the advantage to that bill went to people.
Well, I don't think we needed the war, obviously. Like, I don't think we should have invaded the way we did. We should have done diplomatic talks to try to.
So, like, does that not like
there's some things you have to do?
But like, does that not like really upset you? Because like Donald Trump specifically campaigned against, and in fact, like directly.
But the thing is, he did say no new wars, but this is something that's been ongoing since the '80s that they've been screaming hate to America.
Okay, wait.
killing civilians.
But there's a lot of people who scream hate to America, and
well, it's different when you're a terrorist organization running a country and you've done attacks.
Why did he not mention that before while he was running for president?
I think because he knew. Because honestly, I'm gonna be real. Donald Trump knows his demographic, and if he would have told him like, "We're gonna as soon as you elect me, I'm gonna do this," he wouldn't have got voted in.
So he lied.
No, I don't say he lied. Just didn't tell you. That's not a lie. It's not.
Well,
a lie
I mean, him like directly saying a million times.
Well, I also will say that. I will say that I don't know what the tensions was, but they did find nuclear facilities, right? So, I mean, it only makes sense that you would want to get rid of the nuclear facilities in a country that's.
I mean, Iran has been like attempting at some level to enrich uranium for like decades. But in decades, but again, no president has engaged in this. And again, I don't see any evidence to believe that Donald Trump did this because he actually believed that Iran was close to a nuclear weapon.
Well, Iran. I also do you agree with like, well, obviously, but like, do you agree with government intervention when like civilians are being harmed by government or like someone helping in to help? Or
I'm not. I mean, everything's a case-by-case basis, but not really a lot of the time these days. And
interesting.
Well, I mean, also, I just want to point out, like, again, from like a MAGA perspective, like, do you really believe that anybody believes that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement cares about if civilians are being hurt in another country? Wait, hold on. His entire immigration policy is based off the idea that we need to, stop the woke bullshit. We don't care where people go or what country. Hold on. We don't care where people go or what country they have to go back to. We shouldn't have to take care of them. America first. We should stop spending money on pointless wars that don't affect us. America first. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that we have an immense amount of care for Iranian civilians? That's
Can I counterclaim to what you just said?
Sure.
I would say that it's pretty like hold on, my mind just blank. I'm high as fuck right now. I'm sorry.
You cannot say that on TikTok Live, unfortunately, my friend. But enjoy the rest of your night. Genuinely, enjoy the rest of your night. It was a respectful conversation. We will talk again soon. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know. I will bring you up. Sorry, TikTok's been very strict lately, my friend. I hope you have a good. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How old are you?
19.
What year were you born?
2007.
All right. What do you like Trump?
So, Trump is good, right? Because he keeps the middle class and the people that don't really know anything about politics in a perpetual cycle of hate, right? And this is good because we're able to control the lower class better and keep the oligarchs that are on top from paying tax-paying dollars.
I agree. I think that, honestly, you might have just changed my mind.
That's tough, right?
Yeah.
See? This is why he's a good president. And everything that he's doing right now is good because he's going out with a bang, like Joker. Well, did Joker do this?
Jaden, thanks for coming up here. Appreciate you. Actually appreciate you. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know. Double tap screen. Good to see everybody, by the way. Yeah, guys, I think that was sarcasm. Chat, I think it was sarcasm. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born?
2007.
All right. You like Trump?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because him and Charlie Kirk and Epstein can relieve us of our sins.
Really?
Jesus. Yes.
How?
Because Jesus is Christ. Did you not see the picture of him as God?
Oh, Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. That's right. He did. He is. I mean, he's. Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. Fuck that guy, bro.
Yo, huge W's in the. Is this Jax?
Fucking hate Trump. Fuck Trump.
Huge W's in the chat for my guy. I can only see the first three letters, so I saw Jax. But what a great guy right there. All right, guys, what a great guy. But I am looking for Trump supporters. Truly, I do love you. No, wait, W Jackson looking for Trump supporters. That was Jackson. Yo, appreciate you being here, Jackson. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Huge W's, Jackson. Hello. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi. How old are you?
I'm 45. How are you doing today?
you know, just living another day, another dollar, right? Why do you like Trump?
Well, I liked him pretty good to begin with, till the past couple of years.
So do you like him right now?
I'm not a very big fan of the things he's been doing lately.
Are you going to vote for Republicans in the midterms?
Really, to be honest with you, I don't know who I'm voting for if I'm going to vote at all.
Well, I mean, that's
kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to come on, just to share my opinion about a few things. Some of the things that touch on some of the things I heard some of the other people talk about.
Okay.
Like immigration for one, with ICE. I was for getting rid of the illegal immigrants. I'm not gonna lie, but whenever I seen some of the things that was going on in the country with the way ICE was handling stuff, it really made me mad. I was upset. I didn't like to see people's rights violated. I didn't like to see people getting smurdered, which was happening. And I won't get into all that, but you know what I'm talking about. I didn't like the fact that Trump wanted to, what was it, Greenland or Iceland? Is like, oh, you're going to give us your country or we're going to come over there and take it. Yeah, that wasn't good. I didn't like that. And I think, just my opinion, but I think the problem is there's not enough of American people that has enough of power to regulate the government outside of voting. And the problem is, we need to put term limits on Congress.
I agree with that.
No more of staying in Congress for 40 years and making it a career.
100%. I agree with that.
They need to be, the amount of money that they make needs to be limited. It needs to be capped.
Yep.
Because if it was capped, then they would have to want to do the job.
Right.
For the people, not to go in there and make money.
Right.
They don't need to be allowed to do stock trading and all this other stuff that they do. There's a lot of things I think that could be done to help America. The problem is our government for the past 70 years has had their foot on American people's necks. And only for the past 20 years has people really realized it. Because it's been like frogs in a pot of boiling water. You don't realize it's hot until your skin's coming off.
That's a good saying right there.
And they have had the American people divided against each other for one reason or the other, whether it be politics or whether it be the color of your skin, whether it be money. They always find a reason to divide people. And now you have, and I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but you're the first person that's on the opposite side of the aisle that I've come across with a live on TikTok where you're actually cordial and will have a cordial conversation with somebody. And you have people on the right now, like me, who's seeing the things that are going on in America, and we won't change. It's not that we're hardcore Republicans. You know what I'm saying? We want what's best. And yes, we might not be all completely up on all the facts or studying every single law that they're trying to pass through, because a lot of us are busy. We have lives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have lives. We have kids. We have wives. We have jobs. We have things going on in our life that we can't pay full attention to every single detail.
Right.
But we want what's best for the country.
Yep.
That's like me. I'm really big on freedom. Okay. I want everybody in this country to have freedom to do as they see fit. It doesn't matter if I agree with it or not. It doesn't matter if I want them to do it or not. That's not the purpose of freedom. The purpose of freedom is for people to do whatever they want to do that suits their life, that suits their lifestyle, that suits the way they raise their kids. That's what America is about. That's what America's supposed to be about. But it doesn't mean that if I believe one way, then I'm going to come over there to your house and tell you that you have to believe the same way.
Right.
That's not the way America works.
Right.
We should all be able to sit down at the table as grown adults and say, look, here's the problem that's going on in our country. It's not the American people. It's the government running this place. That's the problem. And it's been that way for decades. But people are too prideful to sit down because everybody wants to be right about every single little thing, and they want to sling mud in each other's face over it. And that's a big problem. They can't swallow their pride a little bit.
Man.
And sit down and communicate and work things out and be like, hey, this is what the people needs to do to get control of the situation and fix it.
Well, man, you're a good guy. You're a good dude.
I mean, I like you too. I like your live, man.
I appreciate that.
You know, I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be at all. I've made mistakes, and I'll own up to my mistakes. And being 45 years old, I've only voted twice in my whole entire life, and both of those times were for Trump. And I was really skeptical about doing it then because I'm not a big fan. I'm not an anarchist or anything. I believe that government is important. I believe that we need government. But I believe the government that we've had needs changing. It needs to be changed because it's not working for the American people and it hasn't worked for the past 70 years. And without getting into a bunch of conspiracy theories, I could talk all day about that, but that's beside the point. The point is, it's blatantly in our face. We're losing our constitutional rights more and more every day. And all the American people can do is sit around and bitch about it. That's all they do. And they blame each other, and they're blaming the wrong people. Instead of saying, hey, Washington, you're the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They are the problem. And I'll go ahead and say it. Trump was a big part of that problem, too. He's a big part of that problem. You know, putting people in freaking camps. And some of those people, there was a Native American guy he put in there. And I say Trump because he's over all this. He's the one that's supposed to be saying, hey, look. And I know he watches television. You know what I'm saying? I know he sees the news. He has people that comes back and reports to him about things that goes on. And I can say this about a bunch of other presidents. It ain't just Trump. That's another problem. Nobody wants to. Everybody thinks their president's the best. All of them have had the same problem across the board. In one fashion or the other, every one of them has had the same problem across the board with messing everybody's life up. And I think also another part of that problem goes back to Congress because they have to deal with Congress every single day. And some of the bills that they need to push through, that they need done or whatever, they have to go through Congress to do this. So you have people out here on the floor trading with each other. Oh, I want this, so I'll scratch his back so I can get that. And it's a constant thing every single day. So then you have underhanded deals that go on. Same thing with trying to push bills through. You have so many Democrats over here that wants this. And they're not going to do anything. They're not going to give their vote until the Republicans give it to them. And vice versa. It's the same way. And then you have one guy, the president, sitting up here fighting the whole time because he's basically just a puppet. He's a head show for the American people. And everybody blames him. Nobody stops to think about the fact that, oh, look at Congress. Maybe it's their fault.
Incredibly ineffective. 100%. Incredibly ineffective. A lot of the issues I'm really passionate about in relation to executive power would be significantly less of a problem with Trump taking the same actions if Congress was actually a check on the executive branch, aka they actually did their jobs ever, but they don't. Yes. They're so ineffective. They do nothing.
They do nothing, and they get paid a crap ton of money for the stuff for not doing anything. And then you have the representatives of your state, senators, congressmen, whoever that goes up there, and they're trying to get stuff done, and they just get swept under the rug or overtalked, or they run out of time, and they have to yield their time to so-and-so or whatever else. And it's a constant battle. I mean, you could sit here all day long and watch it on CNN or whatever, and they're arguing the whole time for 4 or 5 hours, and they get nothing done at the end of the day.
A lot of committee hearings. Man.
But I don't want to take up your time. I'm sure you probably got other people that want to come on, but.
Well, listen, Wolfman, I do have to cycle people, but I just want to say, can we get some W's in the chat? Wolfman, I really appreciate you. I appreciate hearing your thoughts. You're a good guy. I appreciate you thinking deeply about these things. And yeah, man, you're welcome back. You're welcome back anytime. And I'd like to talk to you, getting closer to the midterms. And yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Be safe.
You too.
Yo, Chat, that was kind of like low key inspiring. Like W Wolf, like Wolfman, I didn't mean to like not respond to you much. I would just feel like you were cooking. You were really cooking there, man. Like you were really saying what needed to be said. I was just listening. And here's the thing. There's stuff in there that you said that I would be like, I don't know. But that's okay. Because this is what I like. This is what I like, folks. And I got to be honest. Cece, good to see you. I got to be honest. And this is a case-by-case basis. Okay, don't get me wrong. But there's just certain times that I think that we could be better about. The left, the Democrats, the left, whatever, I think is supposed to be a movement based on a lot of, and again, there's exceptions to every situation, case-by-case basis. But we have to sometimes do a better job of like, letting people grow. That's like the whole point of this movement is like, and often gets so lost, which is like, you're supposed to be welcoming people in and letting them grow and be different. And he was like, I voted for Trump twice, and I kind of realized that I got upset when I was watching certain things. And look, like, could I get really angry at that guy 100%? Like, how do you get? I spent a lot of work before the election, being like, this is going to happen, and then it happened. And I could probably question why he felt like he wanted this or this or this, but like at the end of the day, like I think that's a good human being who's fine, maybe like trying to figure out politically what's going on. So it's like we can just accept that for what that is. That's cool. I don't know. Couldn't hear him? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry. Yeah, the audio was a little. It's all right. So let's we can go to the next. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know. Yeah, he did spend $14 million on a stupid fucking reflecting pool that broke immediately. So that was not good. That was really bad. If you are a Trump supporter, let me know. Maybe let me know in the comments. I'll bring it. Bug, are you a Trump supporter? Haley, good to see you. Yeah, Shane, YouTube, thanks for being here. I'm glad. He's what I know.
Hello,
Trisha, it's a brutal thing. That's right. Give me 1 second. Morrow, that's right. Dark Sunray, thanks again. Over on the YouTube, Matt, thanks for being here. You guys are all good people.
Attention.
Hello.
Over here, buddy. Hello, Chris.
How old are you?
18.
Okay. What do you want?
All right. So this is what I think the opposite of your statement is true. I think he's the best president ever because of the Nick Land accelerationist theology. And I've already debated 3 different debaters about this, and they've all conceded.
Okay, because
See, now you're starting to get frustrated. Now you're gonna kick because.
Wait, I didn't even hear. I'm sorry. I clicked on somebody's profile because I thought that. Can you restate what you said? I just didn't even fucking hear you. Jesus Christ. I'm actually getting frustrated because no offense, but you're being an asshole. Like, let's just start over from the beginning. What do you want?
Interesting. I think because of Nick Land accelerationism, he is very useful to accelerating capitalist society and the imposement of budget funds.
So you're an accelerationist.
What's wrong, Chris? No, not in the traditional sense.
Okay, can you?
It's called tung sir accelerationism, which imposes AI paternalistic autocracy. I'm sure you wouldn't understand, but let me explain it for you. Let me dumb it down for you. So, Nick Land.
I appreciate you being really humble and not condescending.
Nick Land is a controversial British philosopher, writer, and theorist, widely known as the father of accelerationism, and a major figure, just let me speak. Major figure in the neo-reactionary movement. His work blends continental philosophy, cybernetics, hyperstition, sci-fi, and digital culture into a fatalistic, neo-Leninist, anti-humanistic framework. Do you know what that means, Chris?
No, I wasn't paying much attention to that last part. Sorry.
How hypocritical. So, Donald Trump is imposing a state of geotrauma, a philo-fictional concept positing that the Earth itself experiences a traumatic agonizing entity. So essentially, dark enlightenment imposes that Trump is accelerating neo-China. So there's an ancient Sino-American consensus that they are interlinked into a permanent diaspora. You know what that means?
No.
Basically, China and the US are doomed to have a civil war. And this is a civil war in itself because essentially AI is going to impose governance onto. Why are they cooking me in the chat?
Don't pay attention to the chat. Don't pay attention to the chat. Just chat says what they want. Just keep going.
So the reason it would be a civil war is because of the digital Leninist theology that Nick Land is going to eventually lead a neo-reactionary rebellion, revolt, or movement in the near future where the future will attack the present. So essentially, wait. Okay, I've got it right here. I can't share you the images. Okay. So basically, Nick Land imposes that China is an inherently accelerationist society. It is doomed to have everlasting. Why are you closing your eyes? Is it nappy time? Is it nappy time? Wait, somebody.
You know, I was gonna let you keep going, purely because I was entertained. But then you threw another comment at me, so then I was like, all right. And I've been nothing but nice, for the record. As soon as you came up here, I was trying to reply to a comment, and you were like, "Come here, Chris." But also, wow, that was wow. Leninist AI. What Leninist digital? It's like every fucking. I bet if I took every buzzword from that, put my phone down for a minute, and just set them all straight, I'd get like 100,000 likes on TikTok. Sorry. I'm not making fun of TikTok. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know. Sometimes I make fun of every social media platform. Every social media platform has their bubbles. And sometimes lately I feel like at least my For You page can be a little academia talk-esque sometimes. And I find it a little
Hello?
Out there. Hello? Hello?
Are you going to ask me a question?
How old are you?
14.
All right. Well, Jesus Christ. Dude, this is so cool. I just want to point out, this person says, I support Trump. And it says, oh wait, what year is it? Holy fuck. You graduated high school this year? UT class of 2030. Oh my God, dude. I'm fucking getting old. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. What year were you born?
2008.
Okay. Do you like Trump?
I do.
Why do you like Trump?
Sorry, I meant support Trump. I don't know how much I like him, but I do support some of the things that he has to offer in his presidential years.
Okay.
One of those things I would say probably is I would say probably the ban on abortion. And okay, I know what you're gonna argue. I think that abortion is one of the more trickier concepts. Like if you're a victim of rape, I think that should be fair. Oh my God. I think that you should be able to have abortion if you have been raped. But if you if you were to do it out of simply just the pleasure, I think that I I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Is this a troll? It's a troll. It actually is.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
I was just thinking back to the other guy, and he could not pronounce his Oz at all. I'm so sorry. I'm such a liar. I'm such a LARPer.
Oh, okay. You know what? Then honestly, no, it's okay. W, you know, W's in the chat. I will say I did not suspect a thing. That was good. That was good.
Thank you. I tried super hard.
You did good. I appreciate you. Can we get some W's in the
We
chat?
are Charlie.
Yo, W's in the chat. Actually, you know what? That was good faith. I like smiling every once in a while. Look, guys. I very supportive of everybody in here and everybody who's so graciously watching. And I love all of you. But right now, I am looking for Trump supporters. It's getting late. And I want to be able to get a few debates in. I love that. I didn't even get to catch the username, but you're the best. I appreciate all of you. But we got to lock in. All right, we got to lock in. All right. And I have a feeling this person with the cat profile does not actually like Trump. You know? I'm sorry, but like, I don't think this is true. And then we have like Grippy. Oh, okay. All right. I didn't like saying that. That was just like, I didn't even. Why is that your TikTok username? This hoodie's from Mad Happy. I'd be fucking with Mad Happy. I've been spending some bags on Mad. Not really. I have like 3 Mad Happy hoodies though, and these hoodies are expensive. Hello. Mad Happy. What a great band. Hello. All right. Thank you. Of course. They're great hoodies. They're really comfortable. If you're a Trump supporter, let me know.
Yo.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 19.
What year were you born?
7.
Do you like Trump?
Yeah, I think I'd just like side with the party that thinks that baby schmurder is wrong rather than a party that thinks that schmurdering babies is okay.
Ari, you are hearing that correctly. Mad Happy. Okay, well, before I go there, any thoughts on like the no new wars, crush inflation guy not doing those things?
Yeah, so I think it's just going to be like necessary to be in Iran, just given as though we don't want them to like possess nukes. Obviously, you pulled that at the JCPOA.
What evidence do we have that they were close to possessing a nuke?
I mean, just like uranium enrichment, I guess.
In uranium enrichment, you guess. I
Yeah,
mean, they've
it's
been
like,
trying to enrich.
They have like the ability to.
They've had the ability to enrich uranium for 2 decades.
Not under the JCPOA. You can't
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you could enrich under the JCPOA. It could only be up to a certain percentage, and it all had to be
3.67%. That's not enough for them to like build nuclear weapons, bro.
Sure.
You should know that. I thought you were smart, Chris.
Okay. I mean, the chat. Why do I do this to myself? Yeah. So the point being is like again, you're talking about the deal that obviously like Trump ripped up and still says was the worst deal ever to exist. So
yeah.
So like it sounds you're now we're contradicting ourselves. Trump obviously pulled out of it, and now he has to go attack Iran because they're close to a nuclear weapon. Even though again we have no. I just don't believe there's evidence that that's the case.
Yeah, I just want to like neutralize like the possibility of it happening before.
I just want to neutralize the possibility. Yeah, but the thing is like you want to neutralize the possibility of that happening. Don't unmute your mic. You want to neutralize the possibility of that happening. You know who else wanted to do that? Barack Obama. That's why started under Bush and accelerated under Obama was a program called Stuxnet, where they essentially created a piece of malware that could be installed into a Iranian nuclear facility. And could be undetected and mess with centrifuges because enriching uranium takes a tremendous amount of science. So there's a lot of spinning centrifuges and temperatures and all that great science stuff. And so you could essentially have a piece of malware that every 6 months or so would start to mess around with some of those numbers, and it would be very hard to detect. The problem was that Iranian nuclear facilities are not connected to the internet. So how do you get them in? Well, the White House and intelligence communities and Obama, again, this is all suspected, but I argue very damn close to to confirmed, essentially hired some guy from like Europe somewhere and convinced the Iranians to hire him. Like he pretended to just be some pretended to install water pumps or something, fix water pumps. And they somehow, some way managed to convince the Iranians without them knowing to hire this guy who then walked into an underground Iranian nuclear facility, plugged in a USB device. And then, I think over the 5 years before this, Iran had like 9 centrifuges break or something like that. Centrifuges are obviously key to enriching uranium. And then for the next 18 months or 10 months or whatever it was, they would have like a record number, 25 centrifuges or something break. And they couldn't figure out why. And it said their nuclear program back like, 5+ years, it's estimated, roughly depending on what you read. And the only reason this was discovered was because an Iranian nuclear scientist took his laptop outside and Stuxnet, the malware, got confused and went all over the internet. The point I'm making here is like you sit on the internet and you are, being like, well, I think it's a blah, blah, blah. But like there's 13 American troops who got shipped back to their families. There's 100, there's over, don't talk. I told you to mute your mic. There's over 170 children who got instantly eviscerated by a U.S. taxpayer funded missile in a school. And so like, this is not really shit that it's just like, oh, my justification is like, I feel this way. That's not a justification, right? The only justification for doing this in Iran, if you're, living on planet Earth, Republican or Democrat, is if there was an imminent threat of a nuclear strike, and that evidence does not exist. People in the Trump administration have resigned over that because at the highest levels of intelligence, Joe Kent would be the first person that comes to mind. They say the evidence doesn't exist. I think that the Trump administration's own explanation of it suggests to me that the evidence doesn't exist, considering other administration officials didn't mention a nuclear weapon, but Trump did, 3 days later and all these other things. So it's just incoherent and wrong.
Okay, I guess I could like concede on the Iran point, but like once again, I'm just not gonna like side with like a party that thinks like getting
All right,
aborted.
bro, get the fuck out of my life. See, now this is where like I get annoyed. He's like, I'm in a good mood. All night we've been debating. And I'm like, looking, been in a good mood, being nice. And someone comes in my life, and I'm still, being nice. And then it just takes one. We're like, well, the JCPOA. I'm like, the JCPOA allowed enrichment. He's like, yeah, 3.67%. Shouldn't you know that? Shouldn't you know that, bro? I just think that like Iran shouldn't be able to like. I just want to neutralize the threat. It's like, bro, you are a fucking TikTok like don't never touch grass warrior, and that's exactly why you come up here. And the only issue you claim to care about is abortion. You don't actually care about abortion. You don't care about women's health care. If I asked that dude what the maternal mortality rate was, he wouldn't know it. He doesn't know that the United States has the worst maternal mortality rate in the developed world according to the CDC. He doesn't know that how these abortion laws are affecting women's ability to get basic health care in red states, not relating at all to abortion. Just, I don't know, your primary care doctor might have gotten up and left the state. Like, he doesn't know any of that because a lot of these Phil bros are interested in debating abortion because it's the first topic that they learn, and then they run around TikTok and they want to debate it. And then when you start bringing up other, well, I just disagree with the blah, blah, and laughing. It's like, no, these are actually like serious things. People's lives are at stake, right? Like, women are driving well over an hour to just see a primary care doctor. They are not pregnant because their primary care doctor left. That's a problem. Women are dying because they don't have basic access to health care in the United States, especially in red states. Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. Like, these are real things. God, the way government and laws affect people. It's not just a fucking game of being 19 years old and learning like philosophy and then coming up on every TikTok live and be like, well, like, I'm just not interested in debating you because I don't believe you care about the issue. You don't care about the issue because you don't know the realities that come with it. You don't know how the laws relate to, how the laws are being implemented. You don't know anything about the maternal mortality rate and how it's affecting women's ability to see a doctor. And you don't understand those things because you don't care, because the only thing you focus on is abortion can abortion be morally justified? And again, that's just not the realm I occupy, and it makes me believe that you don't care about the issue itself. You care about winning a debate on the issue, and it's ridiculous and dumb and embarrassing, in my opinion. And that's not a popular take on TikTok, but it's also the truth. Not to suggest that debating the ethics around it are not important. It's incredibly important. Hello.
Yo.
What's up? How old are you?
I am 20.
Why do you like Trump?
Because he'll hit like 11 blinkers.
Okay,
Yo, let's hit one real quick. Ready?
Wait, what'd you say?
Let's hit a blinker real quick.
Okay. Oh my god. Bro. Okay, I have to take you down because it's gonna like get my TikTok. That was actually funny. That one was actually funny. You know what? I'll accept that. People are goofy, man. Phoebe, what's going on? How are you? Yo, Jason and Jafer, thank you so much for $20 on Venmo. You guys are so effing kind. Holy smokes. Just keep cooking. Also, are you ever going to do another Cooking with Chris? Love you, Jason and Jafer. First of all, Jason and Jafer, thank you from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart for always being so supportive, and also for the $20. I never take that for granted. That's incredibly kind, especially with, things are expensive these days. So can we get 1,000,000 W's for Jason and Jafer? They're also both in here. They're mods. They're incredible. So I love you from the bottom of my hearts, okay? From the bottom of my heart, hearts. I have multiple. The DNC gave me another one. They put it straight in here, and I was like, oh. I'm going to live like 200. Just don't worry about it. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. And Cooking with Chris. Well, listen. Not sure how much I should reveal, but, I reached out to some people. My management company who takes 20% of my money. And I said, hey guys, why don't we pitch HelloFresh? I have this great live. It's called Cooking with Chris. And I said, I haven't done it in a while, but I have people talk to me about it still to this day. It was a very the people really liked it. And it wasn't a huge crowd of people that were there in the Cooking with Chris, but the people who were there, they loved it. And I said, because HelloFresh reached out to me recently and they said, can we send you something? We love your content. And I said, of course you can. I said, HelloFresh been posting some anti-Trump stuff. I love them, W's. And I said, listen, why don't my people talk to your people? And maybe we could get a little HelloFresh going on the Cooking with Chris. So to answer your question, those conversations, they're ongoing, they're in progress, and soon. Jason and Jafer, I love you. Bren, thank you so much for the $5. You're incredible, truly. Hook 'em, Bren. Fuck. Texas, even though I'm not. I love you, Bren. You're the best. I hope all is well. Go Texas, even though I'm not no relation to Texas. Go Texas, because Bren, hook 'em. Oh my goodness. Dark Sunray, thanks so much for $2 over on the YouTube Super Chat. I actually appreciate you so much. Say happy birthday to Lady E. Portland. Guys, can we get some W's for Lady Portland in the chat? Some happy birthdays, excuse me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh my goodness, Annalicia. So good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Really, really hope you're doing well. Annalicia's the best. W to Lady Portland, happy birthday to Lady Portland. Dark Sunray with a $2 shout out to Lady Portland. Lady Portland, hope you're having just an incredible day. And I really do.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm existing. It's 2 a.m. So, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Amazing. And you like Trump?
I actually did want to talk to you about something separate. I don't know if you remember me. Your last live that you went on TikTok, I was the one that commented I'm conservative, but you're my favorite debater on TikTok.
Oh my God! Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah,
you're in Turning Point USA, aren't you?
That is me. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to say I think I started watching you back in February or March. I can't remember. I've been watching you for a long time. I actually used to be MAGA, and you're the one that changed my mind about it.
Okay.
You're the one that changed my mind, but
we're MAGA light.
What?
MAGA light, as opposed to MAGA.
Yeah, I would in my views, I think that I supported Trump because of his presidency from 2016 to 2020. I thought that he represented a lot of it well, but if I could take it back, I would probably not support him But I would want somebody else in the Republican primary over him because I was not a Kamala supporter. But
sure.
I haven't. Okay, so you probably don't remember this. Like way back when I started watching you, we actually did a little bit of an abortion debate, and it was you have no idea what I'm talking about because it was very short.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about that again with you because I feel like if you change my mind on something, I could change your mind on something. So.
Well, first of all, I want to say I very much appreciate the kind words and thank you for watching. That actually does it means a lot, and I'm glad that well, I might have had a little bit of influence, but yeah, sure, go ahead. I'd love to hear the give you the pitch.
All right. Well, I guess abortion is kind of how I got into politics in the first place, whenever I first learned about the overturn of Roe v. Wade. And I actually used to be pro-choice whenever I first heard about it. And I kind of looked into a lot more. I was very young back then, so I looked more into it. And I don't think I can justify the killing of any human being. That's why I'm very anti-war. That's why I'm not supportive of Trump right now because of the Iran war. But I don't think I can justify the killing of any human being because, I mean, ever in history have we ever looked back and been like, yeah, killing that certain group of human beings was justified and okay. But yeah, I really don't think that. I mean, these babies in the womb are the most innocent form of human life. They've done no wrong. They did nothing to be put in a place of where people just looked at them and said, yeah, they should be murdered. And I think also abortion opens up the door for like the case with the kid where that guy, the YouTuber, was like, yeah, I'm going to abort my baby because he has Down syndrome. I think that opens the door for that. And yeah.
Okay. Can I ask a question in relation to this?
Sure.
As if it would be in relation to something else. Do you believe it's possible to hold the stance that you have, that doing something in your mind, having an abortion is morally not justifiable, while also believing that it is not possible or should not be the reality that government regulates said issue? Can those two things exist at the same time?
Can you simplify that? I'm a little bit confused.
Sure. I think that I think that there is a subsection of people who say, I believe abortion is immoral, and I may spend my time advocating to other people in my own capacity that it's not moral, and I would never do it. However, because how government operates in a society is very complicated, I don't believe that the government has an ability to effectively regulate it. Therefore, I don't think they should.
Well, I mean, imagine just like replacing the word abortion with slavery. I mean, back then but there was a ton of people that thought that slavery was okay to do because it was a certain amount of humans. And should the government have stepped into that? Absolutely, because it was objectively morally wrong to treat certain humans that way. So I wouldn't think so. No.
Okay. And my second question would be in relation to what I assume you heard before and you've heard me say before, which is around, like how the laws are implemented in especially a lot of red states that are lacking the access to healthcare. In my home state of Georgia, half our counties don't have OBGYNs, for example.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of like a root issue. I think that abortion doesn't fix that. I think instead we need to provide better healthcare. I'm a huge healthcare advocate. I think the healthcare in America is absolute buns, and we need to fix that. And I don't think abortion is going to allow that. I mean, I'm assuming you're going to bring up like the case about like how in these like red states where it's more abortion, like there's like more strict abortion laws, there's higher mortality rates for women. I think that, what was I going to say? So I think that the issue here is absolutely, I'm not going to say that the deaths of those women is okay. It's absolutely not. And nobody should ever say it's okay. But I do say that like in every single abortion, there is a human being that dies in every single one. But in the cases where women die in pregnancy, I think like that's obviously tragic, but I would prefer a world where less humans die, if that makes any sense.
And again, like I think that like the part of the first question, part of the reason the first question relates to the second question is because saying we need to provide better healthcare, I think doesn't solve the issue of when government steps into this role aggressively enough. They're again, like a lot of the reason doctors are leaving these states and the maternal mortality rate increases and women don't have access to healthcare is because doctors say, the government is trying to regulate this issue, and doctors are saying, why should I risk, or a hospital is saying, I'm kind of simplifying it, why should we risk a potential civil lawsuit or a criminal case? A doctor may say, why would I risk a criminal case doing what I believe to be, morally right and based off my training, my being a doctor for the last 2 decades?
Mm-hmm.
Why should I stay in a state where I'm risking those things, or a hospital is saying we are risking those things operating here, and so they leave? And part of that issue is that, again, like a lot of these laws are being written by people who are not doctors, but that's also just an inherent issue with government regulating this aggressively enough. You're saying, okay, we need to write laws where, you can be criminally charged or be potentially liable for a civil lawsuit if you provide somebody an abortion. And then I think what ends up happening is hospitals do a cost analysis because we live in a capitalist society, and they say it is not worth it to potentially have a question. Just a question alone is going to cost a lot of people a lot of money. If a woman walks in and she's obviously not looking for an abortion, and she's in dire need of an operation, and she's in a lot of pain, and an operation occurs and they lose the baby, if there's a question in that at all by anybody, by a family member, by someone, whatever, what did an abortion occur, they are they're incurring a ton of risk. They're incurring a potential civil lawsuit. They're incurring a potential criminal lawsuit, not just the doctor, but the hospital. And so they do a cost analysis and they say, okay, we are a for-profit business, therefore we're not providing these services. If it's up to a question, we're not going to do it. And so that's why we hear these stories of either A, doctors with their own practices packing up and leaving because they're saying, why would I risk me personally, again, getting a potentially felony charge, even if it was dismissed immediately in court? All it takes is, somebody to convene a grand jury, good enough. Let's go bankrupt off lawyers. Why would I risk any of this? I could go to a different state. And simultaneously, not only the doctors leaving, which increases the maternal mortality rate, but women walking in and being denied services, like we've heard so many times from hospitals where they tell women, like, and I could probably pull up several very detailed stories on this, of women who walk in with a problem in pain, and they are explicitly told to come back when they get worse, like significantly worse, because the hospital is saying, we will not operate on you until you are septic. We will not operate on you until you practically organs are failing. Because again, it's a risk analysis based on the fact that they have a business. And so those are questions that I'm afraid that I don't know are possible to solve if the government regulates it to this extent.
In that case, I'd just be, I am already like against abortion being legal at all. So in that case, it wouldn't be a question at all. But and also, whenever it comes to women needing abortions, which by the way, whenever like ectopic pregnancies and stuff, those don't even count as abortions, medically speaking. What women need to get is not medically counted as an abortion. But anyways, those circumstances are so rare that like it's 2% to 3%, I'm pretty sure. Like the other 96% is because of convenience, and if like it's convenient for the mother to have the baby whenever it comes to like if she can afford it, if she wants to focus on her job, et cetera, et cetera.
two things. Number one, obviously, like I just want to lastly point out, and I know you're not directly contradicting this. It's obviously important that, again, most women who are being caught in the crossfire of the extreme negatives of what I would argue to be the abortion laws here are obviously not themselves looking for an abortion 99% of the time, and are often either not pregnant, or they are pregnant and they actually they want to carry the baby to term, but they, end up passing away because of some effect of what some would argue to be an abortion law. Now, I know that this is like one half of a two-half argument around, like, obviously the morals of abortion itself, which I'm happy to get into. But I also brought up Noodle, who people in the chat, and somebody else who's a woman. I think it's important to have women in this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
To talk. So Noodle, if you would like, and I can bring Brent up as well, chat. If Noodle, if you would like to chat, you can say something.
All right. Hi, Hazel.
Hi.
So I've been listening for a while, and my mom, she is a CCMA with Planned Parenthood. I am also a volunteer. I do volunteer work where I get people to call their Congress members and Senate and stuff like that, and I also educate people on what Planned Parenthood does. So you're talking about the morality of abortion, correct?
What do you mean by that?
Like whether or not it is, I guess, morally correct for people to have abortion.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So, do you believe in things like exceptions to laws that are being put in place, or like what is?
No, I'm an
what is your belief
abolitionist for
about it?
abortion. I'm an abolitionist for abortion.
Okay. So I want to bring up what we see a lot in my area, specifically in Colorado. We are a blue state, of course. I'm sure it is very known. We get a lot of underage patients, and I would say under the age of 14, who have been assaulted by family members, who this is, terrifying for them, and their grandmothers are bringing them into the clinics in tears, trying to help them because their uncle assaulted them. And a lot of these kids are coming from out of state. A lot of these people are coming from places like Texas and Georgia and, all over the country because they can't get access. Is it very common? We don't see it a lot, but in the last year and a half, my mother, because she is a CCMA, she is the person kind of you see before you actually see the provider, like the actual doctor. She does like your intake, and she can do blood draws and stuff like that. She has seen an influx of underage girls, really young patients, not only with abortion care, but younger girls who have still dealt with child abuse, who have to get STI and STD testing taken care of and treatments and stuff like that. And I'm saying like middle school girls, 13, 12, 11, like these are young girls. And I myself had a miscarriage at 16, and it was very heartbreaking for me. And at that time in my life, I was very bittersweet about it because like I wanted to have that baby. I was emotionally attached to it.
I'm
But
very sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. But now that I'm 22, I was with an abusive partner at that time, and he is what led to that miscarriage. He, instead of saying, I will help you pay for an abortion, I'm going to essentially make sure that child doesn't come to term. For TikTok guidelines, I'm not going to talk about the situation. It is very hard to talk about. But just bringing that up, I think it is very important that we do have access to that care. Not only do I want to bring up people like Adriana Smith, she was a woman who was in Georgia, and her body was basically being used as an incubator. She was brain dead. She knew something was wrong with her, and doctors told her you must carry this baby. 2 days later, or I think it was like maybe within a week, she was in the hospital, brain dead. And they kept her on a ventilator, and her body was literally rotting with this fetus inside of her. And they wanted to keep her all 9 months, but they took her off, I believe it was 6 months into the pregnancy, and finally let her body rest, because it was decomposing while that baby was inside of her. And a lot of that has to do with the abortion laws in the state of Georgia. And that's why I volunteer, and that's why I do what I do, and my mom does what she does, because we need the care. And you know, what's big about my mom's story is when I was little, the reason why I'm even here is because when she was pregnant with me, she didn't believe in abortion. And she was actually going to join the military when she found out she was pregnant with me. And the person who was recruiting her called her as she found out. And she said, "No, I'm having a baby. I'm going to be a mom now." And
I have a
then
question. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Just real quick. Sorry, you've been talking for a bit. I'd love to ask you a question.
Of course, I'm so sorry. I go on a tangent.
No,
but-
you're totally fine. So, obviously, in every single one of those cases, it is heartbreaking. I like what you were talking about, the little girls that were going in. I assume that the influx that you were talking about of the little girls that were coming in is because of the states like banning abortions in certain states, and these states started flooding in. I'm assuming that's why. But
Yes.
going into it, with the children and the little babies, how I look at it is I look at it and I say, I'm going to ask you, are you pro death penalty or anti death penalty?
I think it depends on what the crime is. I think things should be fully investigated, especially where there are things like, you know, wrongful convictions where people are found not guilty after they've been murdered by
Right.
the prison system. And I think our government prison system needs to be reformed in many ways. But
Okay.
aside from the point, I think it is definitely capital punishment worthy if a man decides that he can use any woman, child,
Okay.
adult at all for his own
Okay.
gratification, and it gets her pregnant and she has to carry it. I don't think it's okay.
Okay.
I
So
have
under
almost been sold
current,
into sex trafficking at 16, part by my abuser. So a lot of that is why I advocate for women's rights. So
okay, I'm so sorry. It seems like you have gone through a lot, and I am terribly sorry for that. But my question I have to ask for you is, under current U.S. law, rapists can't get the death penalty. They can't get the death penalty. So I'm asking, why should the innocent child be the one getting the death penalty
So, do you
instead of the
believe from the
rapist?
moment from conception that it is like baby shaped, it has a heartbeat and everything? Is that what you believe? Because I want to understand your scientific belief on that.
I said in the beginning this. I think that our value comes from being human, and being human alone. I deeply care about human rights for every single human. Whatever, I don't care about race, I don't care about gender, all that stuff. I think every single human, I especially don't care about age. I think every single human being should be able to have rights. And so I'm asking you, these babies, in my mind, I have friends alive right now that were conceived in rape, and I don't look or sorry, in grape. And I don't look at them any other differently than I do my friends that were conceived in a loving household. I don't treat them any differently because they're still a human in my eyes. So I'm saying, why should we treat these babies differently than others because they were conceived differently? These babies did nothing wrong. The rapists absolutely should be getting in jail. They should be going to jail, absolutely. But I think whenever it comes to the baby did no wrong, but yet they're the one that's getting the death penalty.
So, okay. So, the classification between a baby and a fetus is very different.
Okay, yeah, it's a different stage of life. It's like saying a child is not an adult. They're both still humans. I call them a baby because we say things like baby shower. We say stuff like that. That's socially accepted as a baby. If you want to call it a fetus, we can. It's still fine. But in the end, it's still just a different stage of a development stage of life.
Well, a baby shower is the preparation for the future of the baby possibly breathing. You know, it usually happens before the baby's even born. So,
Okay, sure. We can still say
however,
fetus. We can sure say, but that doesn't deny the fact that it's human.
scientifically, I'm going to use scientific terms just because I am a volunteer. My mother also works with them.
Okay, sure.
So
we can say
I'm gonna
fetus.
I'm gonna use scientific terms. I saw what my miscarriage looked like. Unfortunately, I could not say that yes, it looked like a baby. You know, I didn't know the gender. I didn't know it didn't look like it had sold me. I'm not religious, so you know, I think when you pass away, that's the end of it. We're on a floating rock surrounded by a ball of fire. So, we, you know, I don't. We don't have a heartbeat until we are about 21 to 25 weeks in gestation.
Okay, but there's
Typical
humans
abortion
that
law.
that are born that also have to have their heart beating for them. Do you think that they don't count as human because their heart's not beating on their own? Or as soon as somebody's heart stops in a heart attack, do you think we should just let them die because their heart is stopping, or should we give them CPR and help them?
So I would also say that a lot of abortion isn't only due to incest and assault.
It's
A
not.
lot
It's
of it is due to people
less than
who
2%.
are worried about the baby's health. Could the baby live?
That's about
Would
3%,
it be
2%.
born? Would it be born stillborn? Would it be born with genetic mutations that would actually hinder its ability to function and function
Right.
as
I
and
talked
be
about
as a
that.
person. There's literally an episode of Grey's Anatomy where her baby was born without a brain, and that right, like
Okay.
that's upsetting.
Wait,
So
hold on. So
when people talk about getting abortion because their child is like literally going to die, why would we want to force the woman to carry that when she's probably already wanted to, and they've planned and probably had baby showers and told family members, and there's a nursery built that, well, you're 6 months pregnant, we can't, you obviously are past the normal time of an abortion. It would be an emergency D&C, of course. People don't get late term abortions. People aren't killing babies as soon as they are born. That just doesn't happen. People would be going to prison for that.
Oh, it's happened before. There's cases about women there's a woman that wrote a book about, it was called Why I Am an Abortion Doctor, and in that she talked about 9-month abortions and how in certain 9-month cases they would break the baby's back after it was born alive. There's actually a case called
Let me
There's
pull
a
out my
case you should
MacBook.
look at the case of Clementine. Clementine was born alive, and then without the mother's consent, Clementine was she was dismembered, and then she was given for organ harvesting. This is legal in certain states.
I'm opening up my MacBook right now because I'm using my phone for TikTok so that I can look this up, just because I want to make sure that you're correct, just because I make sure that I look up everything. And
yeah, you can
said
look up the story of
right?
Clementine. Clementine's story. Yep,
Well,
I'm close with the father of Clementine, and he still doesn't know where Clementine is, where her parts are. It was sold away without the mother's consent. It was completely illegal. The mother of Clementine didn't consent to it.
really quick, while this is occurring, Maven, Bren, hello, good to see you guys.
Hi.
What's going on?
Anglicans for life. Okay.
I'm honestly just furious because I'm not gonna lie, this just pisses me off. I need you to just kind of clarify real quick the correlation between, because you said something and it still stuck with me, and I need you to clarify it real quick. What is
Yeah,
the
of course.
correlation between slavery and abortion? Quickly.
Well, Chris said something like, why if I don't believe it, something like, I won't ever get an abortion, blah blah blah, but why should the government dictate it? I said, well, if you just swap the word with slavery was horrible. People saw slaves as less than human, even though they were human. and it was legal back then, but it was still objectively morally wrong. It's just the wording. I'm not saying that the two are necessarily comparable in the actions, but I am saying that how people are wording it is similar.
Saying
It's
that if
not
there's
similar at all.
it's trying to make the claim that if there's something that's morally abhorrent, that the government has a justification regardless to do something about
Yeah.
it.
Got it. So okay, because I was concerned. I thought you were like basically comparing the two and saying that they're on the same level of. Okay, yeah. Actually, I have a question for you. Do you think that those two are on the same? It sounds like you're saying that those two are basically on the same playing field.
Well, not necessarily, but there are some things that need to be, the government needs to step into whenever something is morally wrong, and they need to make it illegal, such as murder, such as robbery, such as
And
things like that's
abortion
morally
is
wrong. Abortion is morally wrong, and therefore I believe that it
okay.
should be that's when the law should step in and say that no, should not be allowed anymore.
So in terms of okay, so I have a question. If you had a 10-year-old daughter and she was raped, do you expect her to carry this child to term? Yes or no?
Well, well, my short answer would be yes, but let me explain, because people like to say like, "Oh, you're a terrible person for saying that," but I said it earlier.
Oh no, you are a terrible person, but
But
continue.
okay, you can say that, but I don't believe that
Big you,
baby. I believe that I'm going to give my daughter the utmost care, but I truly do not believe that baby did anything wrong in order to be put in that position, and its life does not be. It is not, and the life does not deserve to be ended. Because what makes here, I'd love to finish. I'd love to finish. There's something about Western civilization, Western culture, is that we do good after evil and not evil after evil. I don't think that murder should be in response to rape. I think that something good can come out of this, and I don't think that we should murder the baby in order to
So you think a baby should carry a baby?
Exactly.
I don't believe that a
get that
life should be
straight.
ended because of a certain situation.
A certain situation, which
Yes,
is
and a
rape.
very, 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 very rare situation. I mean,
Those aren't rare situations. They happen all around the world. Like,
and
what?
My mom literally just had a
This isn't
13 and
rare.
16-year-old sister, and they were both getting abortions because their uncle was assaulting them both.
SA
and they lived
is
with their
not
grandmother.
rare.
Oh, I'm not saying SA is where. I'm saying that a 10-year-old. The example that you gave me was a 10-year-old, which most of those don't even get. Most girls don't even get periods by that time.
I can.
But
Here, I
also,
actually have two cases that my mother just had last week
I
that
would
she
love
came
to
home
talk
sobbing
without being
about.
interrupted. I'm going against.
Oh no, finish. No,
guys,
no.
Guys.
Finish.
I love it. I love everybody up here. I do. But two Hazels, not to play not to play devil's advocate here, but there's three people up here going against one person. So yeah, the only thing I request is one at a time. That's it.
Thank you, Chris. So I was like,
never mind.
Oh, crap. I lost my train of thought. What was your original question? Somebody's question.
Was it my question?
I think we were asking you about let's just say you had a 10-year-old daughter who was SA'd.
Well, I already gave my answer to the scenario, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to talk about my information? I found about
what would you expect me to say? In order for me to remain consistent in the pro-life movement, I would have to say that every single baby deserves human life. And I don't think if a pro-lifer says that no, I would not let my 10-year-old go through that, they're not being consistent, because they're not seeing every single human being the same morally valuable. I saying that they are, because being human is innately, I think that's what gives us value.
Okay.
So, are we gonna ignore the trauma, the physical trauma? First of all, you're saying
absolutely not.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to let me finish first. Thank you.
You're right. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the trauma that a child would have to go through to give birth. And you're saying that in the example that I asked you about, you were like, okay, I'm fine with my child giving birth. You're willing to help your child in her situation. So my thing is, so you're okay with that. The fact that the child's going to go through this incredibly traumatic situation. Like that's okay to you.
I wouldn't want her to go through that traumatic situation, but I
Okay,
would
so then
provide her
there's
with
a
the most
solution for
amount of
that.
help afterwards. I think pro-lifers miss a lot whenever talking about this case and like cases like this is the help that the person gets through. That's actually what a lot of pregnancy centers do, is they help women go through the mental.
This isn't a person. This isn't a woman. This is a child. Okay, this is a baby.
This is like at
And
most
you're
a
saying,
youngest
you're
of
here
fourth
saying, you're
grader.
sitting here saying, oh, yeah, we can help them go through that. Their brains
who's
aren't
trying to
even
learn
fully
long
developed.
division.
Their frontal lobes aren't even developed. So like, what are you talking about?
I
Genuinely.
don't think that murder is a response to something horrific. I think that I'm just not for murder. I mean, what would you expect me to say? Would you expect me to say, no, actually, I would want my 10-year-old to get an abortion? Then you'd be like, boom, we got you, because you don't actually see every single human life as valuable. No,
so
I
you're
do.
saying you expect the
I do see every
10-year-old,
single
you
life,
expect the
every
10-year-old
single
to
human
go
value. I
through
don't
that.
think
You expect a 10-year-old, a child, to go through that, and their bodies aren't even fully developed. Their brains are not fully developed. They cannot even carry to term. Most of them, they're children. So obviously, the concept of death is right there for that child as well.
What is the difference between a baby that's conceived in grape and a baby that's conceived in a living household? What's the difference between the babies?
I think the question.
Tell me what's the difference between the babies? What do you see one baby as more morally valuable than another because they were conceived differently? Because if so, then you have to be consistent.
That's exactly the question.
That's the same individual.
I need you to take this because genuinely, this girl has lost her mind.
No, I'd like you to answer it. I'm talking to you.
What is the question? What is the question?
I'm asking you, what is the difference between these two babies?
Exactly
One
it.
that's conceived in a living household, one that's
There
conceived in
is
grape.
no difference.
There is no
Exactly.
That's
There's
the
no
question.
difference.
There's no difference.
They all deserve human life.
Chris would like to speak on his own live stream.
Hold on, let Bren. Bren, I think Hazel's
It's
response.
okay.
Hazel's response was they're both the same. That they're not any different, no matter how they're conceived. Bren, go ahead.
No, you're right. It's not any different. But when you take a little 10-year-old girl, let's just say, okay, that she is great, and she has conceived a baby with her graper. I cannot fathom the thought of allowing that little girl that had nothing to do with allowing that to happen to her body. How can you make her go through that? I'm genuinely asking you.
Okay. I'm like I said, like it's a horrible scenario. It's extremely rare because grape cases are less than 1% of abortions that happen anyways. But whenever it comes to children, it's even more rare because only 6% of abortions, 6 to 7% of abortions that happen are even under the ages of 19 years old. So it's even rarer whenever it's in the cases of grape, whenever it's just in the age of 19 years old.
For the little girls.
But anyways, even if it was in these very, very like horrible cases, I don't think that punishing the baby is what we need to be focusing on. We should be punishing the rapist, the person that committed this crime, not the innocent child.
But it's also punishing the child and forcing her to carry that baby while she is still a baby, trying to grow as a baby. She is, this hypothetical 10-year-old is trying to learn long division, and we're talking about the fact that she should carry this because, oh God, we're quote-unquote killing a baby.
To carry it. Yeah.
Like, at 16, it was hard for me to even fathom being pregnant, let alone wanting it. Like, that was a hard decision to even come to, wanting it, Like, at 16, let alone what a 10-year-old would think. My abuser's sister was 12. She had no idea how long it took for a woman's belly to show a pregnancy.
Yes, okay.
Here's the thing.
I can see what you're saying, but like you said earlier, every single one of you don't see any difference in between a baby that's conceived in grape and there's a baby conceived in a loving household. You said earlier you don't see any moral difference between the two. So I'm asking you, why are you punishing the baby that's conceived in grape because of the actions of the father, instead of focusing on making sure that father is the one that commits because
the fathers are never held accountable. That's why.
Yeah, we need to fix that. Then we need to fix that. We should be
brother's dad got away with it when he
punishing the baby.
when my brother's dad got away with
You
it.
know what these mothers go through trying to get child support and going after child support all these years? It doesn't fucking happen. It doesn't happen.
Okay, so then let's focus on the root issue instead of saying let's just let abortions happen.
But you're
we need to focus on the real problem.
You're talking about punishing the father, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's not existent. It is not in
Then let's focus
whatsoever.
on that. If you're so concerned about that, let's focus on making sure the father is held accountable instead of killing the innocent baby that did nothing wrong in the situation.
Okay, well, killing. Okay, you're saying killing. What is the definition of murder by the Merriam-Webster standards?
The unlawful killing with malicious intent
by taking the life of a human being, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
A baby isn't a baby for like up to 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I think
Okay, if you want to use the term fetus or whatever, I'm okay with that. It's still
It's
a
not
human
about
being, and that's why I
terms.
think
It's
it
basic
deserves human
science.
rights.
It's basic science. You can sit
It
here and
is.
say, "Oh, terms this, terms that." It's basic science. If you don't know what science
When
is,
does
then
human life
that's
begin? When
that's
does
a
human
problem
life
for you.
begin?
Hazel, when do you believe human life begins?
At conception.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
That's what
so
no.
why at conception?
Because 96% of biologists, according to the CDC, NIH, and multiple different science organizations, have talked about how life begins at
Actually,
conception.
let me rephrase.
Trust
Actually,
the CDC under RFK.
let me back up. Let me rephrase. Yeah, actually, life does start at conception, but I think the question is not if life starts at conception. The question is if does valuable life start at conception? That's number one. But number two, really quickly, do you believe that? So I would assume you advocate for banning IVF.
Yes.
Okay. And so what at conception gives, I almost used the term derives, Jesus. Why at conception what creates the value at conception?
Being human, innately being human, because I think that that's what stems all of our.
Well, what does it mean to be innately human?
Every single human is different than any other animal species.
What makes us different?
Well, we have actual morals. I mean,
but
and over 3,000 animal species, like it's okay to they don't see it as morally wrong to grape or incest or all this stuff. I think that humans, we actually have morals. That's what makes us different than all the animals, and I think that that's what makes us have their greater.
I would agree with that, but at conception a clump of cells doesn't have that difference. If you believe that the innate difference that makes a human valuable is, for example, the morals that we hold, are different than every other species, that's acceptable. But that clump of cells at conception has no sentience, thus has no morals. Therefore, you actually don't see it as any differently valuable.
Do you think that somebody that's in a coma right now, they don't have any morals because they're in
I
a
think
coma?
they once had morals, and then now.
So you think that past matters more than, I guess you could be future experience or present experience?
No, I think that the past gives the agency to the person who is in the coma, or maybe in this instance. Hold on. Yeah, right. But gives the idea of agency potentially to what the future holds for that person, as opposed to at conception. That I don't know if agency is the right word here, but that has never arrived. It hasn't even come to be yet.
Yeah,
so I think that's the difference.
Okay, would you say that, so would you believe an individual? Okay,
sorry.
No, you're good. So I'm talking about the individuality, right? So do you think that let's say a fetus to a born baby to an adult, that's the same individual, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so without being human, you can't be having the human sentience to have morals, but you can be human without having. You can't be having human morals and consciousness without being human. So that's why I think that our value stems from being human alone, because that's what gets us to be able to have the conscious experience and sentience and all that stuff from being human alone. Not the experience itself, but from where it stems from, which is being human.
Right. Okay. So you're saying because that person will eventually grow into a human, that it's not the fact that they are not experiencing, just because they aren't experiencing.
No, not necessarily. I'm just saying that like your argument is like because the consciousness and sentience, that's what can stem like morality for certain human beings. But I'm saying that we can't have consciousness and sentience without and like them and our morals without being human itself, and that's what gives us our value, is being human. That's where it all stems from, the very beginning.
You're being like this argument is like a little bit circular too, because you're saying that like you're saying that it's circular because you're saying that the value. I asked you in the beginning that why are humans valuable, and you said because of our morals and the experiences that we have that are different from every other thing. And then I said, so that's what makes us different. Oh wait, fuck! I just lost my train of thought, dude. God damn it.
I can kind of see what I can see what you're saying, but I have to say, like, that's why I asked you about the individual. That's the same individual from the fetus to the born baby to like a later adult. It's all one individual, so I'm saying it stems from the very first one. That's where where our value.
Do you want to hear a story? Do you want to hear a story from someone that was almost aborted? That would be me. That would be me. I was almost aborted. My mother, at 19 years old, got pregnant with me, walked into the abortion clinic, and one of my aunts, like, followed behind her, and said, "You are not going to do this. I will take her, and I will raise her." And
That's amazing.
My mom turned around in the clinic. But you want to know what? At 19 years old, and in the situation that she was in, listen, I was almost aborted, y'all. I was almost aborted. And here I am on this panel talking about my story. And she changed her mind, and I'm here. But the thing is my father, well, I don't even want to call him a father. My sperm donor was a piece of shit, okay? Was never in the picture. My mom at 19 years old was, had to make the decision to raise this child on her own with a loving, thank God my mom's family was loving to take me in, okay? Even though I was aborted, I still feel like women have a choice. I'm here.
Okay. Where are you going with this?
Well, I'm telling you, I'm here and I'm grateful, but I still think women have a fucking choice.
Are you grateful that you weren't aborted?
I'm thankful that I'm fucking here.
Yeah, exactly. Now think about the million babies that were aborted.
Okay, and if I wasn't here, I wouldn't be fucking here.
And if they allowed abortion in Germany when his mom was pregnant with him, we wouldn't have ended up with that, but
I believe that evil is created, not born.
That's why women should have rights. And I also want to bring up the fact that 1920s Berlin was also one of the most progressive countries for that time. They also they were leading in trans care at that time.
I have a question.
Okay.
Where does your belief stem from? Is this based off religion, or is this just a personal?
My personal beliefs stem from the Bible, but from this entire time, I've never once brought up religion. So we can talk about religion if you want to, but this entire time I've never once brought about religion.
I'm good.
So if you're gonna
because I know for a fact, like I'm Christian as well, and I know for a fact that our Bible does not state anywhere in the Bible does it state anything about abortion.
Does it say anything about? Okay.
That
where does the Bible say that I can't hit somebody with a car?
What?
Does it say that in the Bible?
That's the correlation. That's where you're going with.
No. Answer. No. Just let me just answer the question. Just answer the question. Does anywhere in the Bible say I can't hit somebody with my car?
Were cars invented at that time period?
Okay. Just answer it.
I just answered it for you. Cars were not invented during that time period, so no.
Well, but it stems from what are you doing whenever you hit somebody with your car? What's the chances you could kill them? Correct.
Speed limits.
What?
Oh my gosh, can you answer the question? Whenever you go
What
and hit
is the
somebody with the car, what are the
question?
chances? Like if I'm trying to murder somebody and I go to hit them with my car, like it's gonna be, and I kill them, that's murder, right? But it doesn't specifically state that in the Bible, but it does state that it is murder. It says do not murder multiple times in the Bible. And it also
Okay.
tells us in Jeremiah that
So
God knew what's in the
when
womb.
God instructed David to go and smite the Philistines and everything else, what was that? Was that no murder?
That was the Old
Yes or
Testament.
no?
We don't live in the Old Covenant anymore. We live in the
Okay,
New
let's go
Covenant.
to the New Testament then. When there were certain situations. So you mean to tell me there's nothing in the New Testament that talks about murder in that sense? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, there is. I'm
Wait,
saying
what?
that why I
You just
asked you
said
about
that
the
you
car.
just talked about the Old Testament. You said that's the Old Testament. Okay, we're talking about the New Testament now.
And
So
you asked me if the New Testament talks about murder. I said yes, they do. It says like thou shalt not. It says multiple times about murder and about taking another one's life. Anyways, whenever I brought up this car example is that the Bible doesn't. Sorry, what?
My bad. Sorry. Continue. Sorry.
I'm talking like whenever I brought up the car example, I was bringing up that in the Bible they don't usually give specific instances. For example, they said do not murder. They didn't say do not stab somebody. They didn't say do not shoot somebody with a gun. They didn't say don't run over someone with a car. They didn't give all the examples. What they did do is say thou shalt not murder in a general sense. And it does say in the Bible in Jeremiah and Psalm it talks about in Luke about how John leapt from Elizabeth's womb. It talks about in Jeremiah how God knew us in the womb. It talked about in Psalm how God formed us and knew us in the womb. And I'm asking you, if God knows the baby's in the womb, how can he condone abortion?
okay, so this goes back to the same conversation. This question I asked you about what your idea of murder is, the perception of murder. Exactly. Oh, schmurder. Sorry.
It's okay.
Because you're basically saying that. Okay, so let me just say this. So life is created over time, right? And then there are numerous phases of a pregnancy. There's a living entity that's formed that can take, that's formed and then eventually survives outside the womb. And then these characteristics basically, okay, so these characteristics among like various other things, evidence it can be explained in a sense where the newborn, okay, no, scratch that. Okay, so a newborn with a complete undeveloped brain, right? I generally don't think that while this whole thing like opens up a door for an argument that this view leads to acceptance of infanticide, it's just clear that pre-birth or like abortion in general, like the termination of a living entity that is not yet a person is not murder. That's just what I like my perception of that.
Okay, you can
That's
have
how
your
I
own
feel.
perception, but our laws say something separately. Our laws is
And you can have your own
dictates.
perception about the Bible and give examples and say, okay,
No,
this
I
is
can't
murder
have
and
my
this
own
is not
perception. The
murder.
Bible is one thing or
Yes,
it's a one
but
thing or other.
no, it's not. Like you can
It's
say
one
that,
thing or
okay,
other.
the Bible
It's
says this,
very
and
specific.
people can interpret the Bible differently. People interpret the Bible differently all the time. That's why there are different versions of the Bible in the first place. Like that doesn't make any sense.
It's not talking about the different translations of the Bible. It's talking about how we interpret the Bible. What are you talking about?
No, what are you talking about?
You're
Genuinely, what are you
saying
talking
how the
about?
Bible is meant for different people to interpret it in separate different ways,
We
as
have
if there's
different denominations of churches. We have different translations. Yes, we have different denominations. There's so many different concepts and preachings of the Bible and different views of the Bible and about abortion and whatnot. So you sitting here and saying that, oh, the Bible is only one way. There's so many pastors that have different views on things. There's some pastors that believe that
but
it's
God
okay to
only
have
has
like
one
to
view.
be LGBTQ, and there's some pastors that think it's not okay. So you can't sit
Constitution
here
isn't
and
the
say,
Bible.
oh, okay, there's a set way of viewing things, and you're talking about abortion and you're
The
saying
Bible
that
isn't law.
abortion is murder, like when it's not.
Yes, okay, so you said that you have your own definition of murder, but we're talking about the legal definition of murder, what is in our law. Under law, abortion, killing the
So does
innocent
that mean
baby.
women should
That
be
is not a
put to
human
capital
being,
punishment for
by the
abortion.
way.
When does human life begin? How do you say your name?
You want to argue that human life begins at conception? Yes.
You just
right?
said it's not a human being. You
They're
literally
not
just
a
said it's not a
being.
human.
Do you know what the definition of a being is? Or a human being?
Okay, what's a human being?
No, you tell me.
The difference between a human being and a human?
I'm asking about a human being and a baby. That's what you're comparing, isn't
well,
it?
Well, a human being is just like another, how do you say it, primate? I think it's how it goes, primate of the Homo sapien species. There's no real difference of it. So is that baby a Homo sapien? Or is it like a giraffe?
Okay.
I think we're going off the topic a
We
little bit
are
here.
like just
yeah.
Can I say something? I want to the point of capital punishment, right? So women, you're to your point, women who get abortion should be put in prison for and sent to capital punishment because that's murder,
Well,
right?
as of right now, I think that women are incredibly manipulated about abortion, and it's extremely normalized. It's been legal for over 70 years now. It's been normalized more than 70 years, but I think that right now, I think because women are so manipulated, saying like this is the only way you'll be able to succeed. This is the only way you'll be able to have a real life. I think that we just normalize it so much that I don't think that women should be getting punished for it. I think we need to focus on punishing the abortionists because they are aware of what's happening. They're aware of when human life begins. A lot of women that get abortions aren't aware of that. They aren't aware of what happens during abortion. Women are deeply uneducated when it comes to abortion.
Maybe.
Sorry.
I
I've been able to say abortion this whole time. Chris, do you want me to say AB? I can say it if you want me
Chris's
to.
life to get taken down.
Okay. I can say AB. It's fine, whatever. But I think if we outright ban abortion nationwide, I think if we've gotten into like I guess the society's heads that this is not okay, then it's normalized not to kill babies in the womb anymore. Then I think at that point we need to start punishing the women as well. But I think we would just have to focus on punishing the abortionists.
Abortionist is not a job, unfortunately. But I will say that also the Bible is not law. The Constitution is the law.
That's why I never brought up religion until she's the one that brought it up. I'm saying,
but your morality on a B is based off of the Bible.
It's based off religion.
But
it's
did
not
I ever,
based off of
and that's
legal.
not
It's not
religion
based
at
off
all.
of legality. It's not based off any legal texts. I am looking at the literal legal definition of murder right now.
Yep, and what is it?
So there's the legal definition based off jurisdiction, the unlawful act. The killing must not legally be justified or excused, such as self-defense or lawful execution. Malice, forethought does not mean necessarily hate or spite. Legally, it means deliberate intent to kill, intent to inflict serious bodily harm, or reckless regard for human life, often referred to as depraved. Hold on. Not done talking. How murder is classified. Murders are generally broke down into degrees based on the offender's state of mind and the circumstances of the crime. First-degree murder includes deliberate, premeditated killings perpetuated by certain methods such as poison or lying in wait, or deaths that occur during the commission of inherently dangerous felonies, the felony murder rule. Second-degree murder generally encompasses all other murders that involve malice but lack premeditation, such as sudden intent to cause harm or extremely reckless actions that result in death. And on here I do not find a third degree, but I would assume that would probably be termed to manslaughter. And things like manslaughter could be a car accident where both
I know what
parties were
manslaughter is,
yeah, okay. I'm glad you know what that is because I just had to read murder to you.
I already knew the legal definition of murder. I told it at the very beginning of this debate. It's nothing you said is contradicting what I said in the beginning.
Hazel, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Like a genuine question.
Of course.
Where do you lie for specifications of when you personally think that a baby should be AB. Like,
Never.
what's your
I'm an
general thought?
abolitionist. I believe from the moment of conception, that
No,
life
but like,
deserves
are you talking
protection.
because okay, so here's another story. I had a blighted ovum. And the
Mhm.
doctor looked at me straight in the eyes at 12 weeks pregnant and said, I'm not going to give you a DNC because I want to make sure that you pass the baby on your own. He made me wait until 14 weeks, almost through the first trimester to carry that baby until he gave me a DNC. Do you know how mentally, do you know the mental health that took on me? Like, here's the thing. Do you know what a blighted ovum is? Let me ask you that,
Um,
first of all.
I do not think I've heard of it. No, you can
Okay,
explain it to me.
it's basically, here's the thing, and a lot of people are going to think, oh, it's nothing, but for a woman who takes that pregnancy test and it says positive and thinks that she's pregnant, it's a cluster of cells that cannot form. It's never going to form into anything. It's just in my body. And the doctor looked at me straight in the eyes and said, You're 12 weeks pregnant. I want to see if you can pass this baby on your own. And then I had to wait until 14 weeks until he gave me a DNC to get rid of that out of my body. Do you want to know mentally what that did to me?
It does not. No, it
Awful.
sounds
It's
horrible.
awful. It
Yeah,
is.
I'm
It's
sure it
awful.
is. I'm really sorry you have to
So
go through that.
that's why I'm asking you when you think it's okay. You obviously don't think it's okay to I don't even know the right word, but to rid of a pregnancy. But for someone to carry something in their body for 14 weeks and be told you can pass it on your own, you can pass it on your own, and then I don't, and then I have to go through a DNC. Mentally, that's bullshit. Women,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if women don't want to carry the baby or if it's not okay for their bodies, if it's not healthy, it's wrong. It's just wrong. How do you
Mm-hmm.
think it's okay for a woman to do that to themselves?
Wait, are you just
And
advocating for women to not get pregnant at all?
Are you fucking kidding me?
what?
When I
I'm
got pregnant,
confused what you're
I
saying
wanted
here.
I wanted that baby so bad. Are you fucking kidding me? I wanted
Where,
that
okay,
baby so
I'm sorry.
bad.
You said something like, I don't want women to go through that whenever it was like in the context of pregnancy,
to
not the.
carry to carry something in their bodies that's not viable.
Okay, I understand now. I'm sorry. I was confused by what you were
Oh,
saying.
And honest, and
That's why
I
I
like Hazel.
asked.
To be honest with you, like here's the thing: if you want to get an AB, you can do that. I mean, if you don't want, I mean, sorry, if you don't want to get an AB, you can do that. But you don't get to decide that for people like Bren. You don't get to decide that for me. You don't get to decide that for anyone in this chat or anyone in America. If you believe that, you do that on your own. But you don't get to sit here and say that it's wrong for us if there are certain situations, a medical situation, the trauma that Bren had to go through, that she has to carry that or has to carry a baby to term because you think it's right.
and I
That's what
still
I like.
carry
That's
that 10
and
years
she
later.
still had to go through that. The trauma and the amount of
You
trauma,
know
and
how
she's
much
talking about her
trauma,
trauma here, and you're
you know
like,
how
oh,
much trauma
sure, I'm sure it
abortion
was difficult.
causes?
I'm sure it was hard. No, let me finish.
Okay.
I'm sure it was hard. There are children, there are literal children who've had to carry children carrying children to term, people who have been raped, and situations of incest and severe fetal abnormalities that Brent's talking about right now that you didn't even know existed in the first place. So, no, you don't have the right to sit here and say, oh, it's murder. Oh, it's this. When women are struggling to put these, not even women and children, and this is even my question as well for incest, for example. Do you expect someone who's been
essayed with the situation of incest to carry that child to term?
I already told you I'm an abolitionist, so I don't believe in
Okay.
acceptance.
So the answer is yes. You do expect that. You do expect that to. Yeah. Okay. Even though the Bible
expecting is not
specifically
the
states that
necessary term I would use.
incest
I
is a
just would not
sin.
make it
Okay.
illegal.
Cool. All right. All right. I got it.
Chris, thank
Anyways,
you. I'm
gang.
gonna drop. I
Yeah,
appreciate
I'm
you so
done. Like
much
I'm
for
done.
letting
Like
me up.
she's
Bren,
like
Yeah,
this is
It's too much.
ridiculous.
I gotta be up for work in
Thank you,
6
Chris.
hours.
thank you guys all for being here. Go get some rest. I appreciate you guys
Yeah.
all
I
hanging in
fear
there.
we've
And
lost
hey,
the plot.
thank you all. Maeve,
Thank
you're
you,
the
Chris.
best. Bren, Noodle, you're the best. Hazel, thanks for 3v1ing up here. I appreciate
Yeah.
you being good faith. We'll talk again soon. Everybody, go get some rest. Bren, we love Bren. I'm sorry, guys. I'm literally not. It's 3:07 in the morning. I'm losing it here. Bren, I really appreciate you. Noodle, really appreciate you. Maeve, really appreciate you. Three great people, great mods, and obviously, I do want to just go back a second. I do want to go back a second and just say that Hazel may have some views on things that we certainly find interesting. But I do, Hazel, appreciate the kind words at the beginning. You've said you've been watching me for a long time, and I was one of your favorite people, and maybe we went from being very MAGA to less MAGA, not MAGA anymore, and I can, I appreciate that. I appreciate you watching. So yeah, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys. I'm going my ass to bed now. Jack and Fire's mom, be safe. Be safe. Everyone gets good sleep. Alicia, Emma, Jafer, I appreciate you. Taylor, you get some rest too. Carrie, appreciate you. Wolfman, thanks again for the kind words earlier. And thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you. Sorry we didn't get you up here. We'll talk again soon. Jason, of course, Noodle, thanks for being here. Mike, appreciate you. Phoebe, appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Maeve, thank you. I do appreciate you, Maeve. Seriously. Tess, good to see you live. Hope all is well. Always a pleasure seeing familiar faces. Mariah, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Nora, thanks for being here. Bren, thank you again. Phoebe, appreciate you. Super chats. Oh my goodness. Thanks so much for the $2 geeks. Can't survive out of the womb for 22 weeks. This is true. I really appreciate the $2 super chat. Seriously, I never, ever take that stuff for granted. Ever. I mean it. Truly, I mean it. Ray, thanks for becoming a Maori Squad member over on YouTube. I actually really appreciate you. Wait. Yo, thanks for the paper and the roses. Noodle, I appreciate you. This is all on YouTube, yes. It will all be on YouTube. Lucky, thank you so much. I think Lucky sent the $20 earlier, which was super kind. I'm trying to see. Why can I not see? God damn it. YouTube's killing me. YouTube is killing me. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Yes. Lucky Phil, thanks so much for $20. A victim of violent attack should never be forced to carry the result of that attack or live with a lifelong reminder of their attacker, forcing that can seriously endanger their mental health and possibly their life. Is certainly 100%. I actually really appreciate you. $20, Lucky Phil, is unbelievably kind. I appreciate you so much. So much, truly. It means a lot from the bottom of my heart. Dark Sunray, thanks for $5. Again, you're always so supportive from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for giving us ladies a place to speak. You're very respected. Next time you need diabetes, speak. And cost, I'm type 1, pull me up. I love you. Well, Dark Sunray, we love you. And I always appreciate all your support. Truly, it means a lot. You never know. We have many different conversations here on live. Again, really appreciate you, Dark Sunray and Lucky Phil. Never ever taken $20 for granted. I think that might be Australian. So love the dude. I was about to just say love the Australians. What are we like? What are we doing, dude? I think it's bedtime. Alicia, I think it might be bedtime. All right, guys. W's Noodle says Dark Sunray. My sister is also diabetic advocate. What a great thing! What a great thing to advocate. No, I know, Alicia. I know. Contagious as well. It's time for bad. Thanks so much for sticking with me. All right. I appreciate all of you. Seriously. Okay. Moderate case. What are you yapping about? What are you yapping